More than just a crop, macadamia nuts fuel livelihoods, drive exports and power dreams. From smallholder farmers to global shelves, they tell a story of dedication, resilience, and Kenya's growing agricultural pride. Join us for the Kenya's inaugural National Macadamia Conference on 4th to 6th June 2025 at Embu University. Under the theme Empowering Kenya's Macadamia Industry through Collaboration for Enhanced Value and Sustainability, we gather to celebrate our progress and shape the future. Engage with industry leaders, policymakers and innovators, from boosting quality to expanding markets and driving sustainable investment. This is where challenges turn into opportunities and collaboration sparks transformation.
Organization is now for. Hello, this is Gillian Lang, the CEO of the World Macadamia Organization, and thank you for the opportunity to provide this video update to the Kenya National Macadamia Conference. I am very sorry I'm not able to be in Kenya in person at this time, but I certainly look forward to future meetings and future events. The World Macadamia Organization is now 4 years old, and we primarily exist to stimulate demand for macadamias. We know that there's a lot of future supply coming, and we'll talk about that shortly. And we know that the industry is most successful if macadamias have a premium positioning. And collaboration, coming together as an industry, is incredibly important. We're a small but very geographically diverse nut, and there is an opportunity to globally collaborate. I'd like to acknowledge these companies, these Kenyan companies. They are all currently members of the World Macadamia Organization. We engage directly and with individual companies, and they become members of the WMO. And really, I'd like to acknowledge every one of these organizations for self-funding a program and organization that's very important to the future of the industry. So here are the 2024 nut and shell supply numbers. You'll see I talked about geographical diversity. Really, we are spread across all continents in terms of supply. And Kenya is, at the moment, the number 4 supplier of macadamias at 14% of the global supply. The largest currently, and probably into the near future, is South Africa at 27% of global supply. But really, we need to come together and collaborate as an industry. We're not like almonds, where 80% of almonds are grown in California. And where there's a marketing levy to promote almonds, in our case, we're geographically dispersed and no formal levies or marketing orders like in the US. We've started to forecast out what the 2030 supply looks like. You'll see there the 2025 forecast, the 2030 forecast range, of which we took the high number, took the number from everyone, and then factored that back by 10% and found a midpoint. And so the midpoint there takes us to 496,000 metric tons of nut and shell. And you'll see how that looks across the globe, and we have a compound annual growth rate of 7.6% to achieve that midpoint. If we're looking at achieving the high point, 8.4%. So really a lot of additional growth coming, and we need to make sure that there's good, valuable homes for all of that future demand, supply. One truth we know, and this has been validated in a lot of consumer research, is that people will pay a premium for their foods if they think they're healthy and more natural, and that there's overall a growing awareness of the link between diet and feeling good, my well-being, how healthy I am. And this particular quote came from a Nielsen report, but there's multiple other evidence in this area. We believe that macadamias do have good, strong future, particularly if we increase the awareness and nutritional understanding. And these key drivers were articulated by a food trend expert, Julian Melliton. And there's actually a 20-minute video available on YouTube, which he's done on the future of macadamias. And he thinks that the key trends that we're aligned to, which are good, are about being naturally functional, food that behaves as it should, the increase in social media and how people are seeking health information from there. In terms of fat, fat used to be terrible. Now this concept of good fat is present and increasing in people's understanding. And there is a link between what happens in your mind and your mood and the foods you eat, and we're well aligned, particularly from the good fats and other features in that space. Macadamia oil has seen an increase in both production and demand in the last couple of years, but there is a very good reasons for that to be strong, particularly with the ratio of omega-6 to 3. More fats and fewer carbs. We're blood sugar friendly, a really low GI, and influences are incredibly important in changing people's perceptions. In terms of the WMO, at the moment our focus is on the US and India, and in China a very sort of thin slither, if you like, focused on nutrition and engagement with the industry. We're also looking at a strategy for Europe and some other local market activations. Our consumer-facing platform is Love Macadamia. We, of course, operate as the World Macadamia Organization, but that doesn't mean as much to consumers. So Love Macadamia is how we show up to consumers out there. This is some of our India activity. India is a huge nut market, very, very small macadamia market. So we're doing a fully integrated campaign, PR, social media, consumer events, dietitians, trade, making sure that when you know about it, that you can find it, and partnering with local brands. We also recently held a tour to India with, there was about 18 people from the industry who joined that, and it was a really great example to see the opportunity for macadamias firsthand in India. In the US, we're doing a lot of work. One of the areas that we've had a huge amount of uptake is in PR, so what we call earned media. And this is just a recent example published in early May by in the Martha Stewart channels, which have 8.8 million followers. The benefits of macadamia nuts and the best way to eat them. Thrilled with that heading, and it is really in the company of a lot of other good headings that we've seen recently. These are all US-based items. And this doesn't happen just by chance. We've had a sort of a multi-pronged program where we've been sending out samples, sending out nutritional information, and then also holding events for dietitians and other people to really increase the understanding of people who are writing for the media, so that they're more likely to talk about macadamias when they're talking about trending foods or doing special items or articles. And this is just when we talk about the resources available, this is particularly in the nutritional space. We've got a lot of posts, a lot of flyers, booklets, summary of research, videos, and other things talking about macadamia nutrition. On our US-based Instagram, we now have about 22,000 followers, which for people who've been building followers is in that part of the world is a good achievement in the 3 years we've been doing that. We also have another area of the organisation, or another focus, if you like, called strategic foundations, and this is really the things that enable or underpin the industry, if you like. So in terms of data, we do crop updates. You've just seen that forecast out to 2030. We're starting to standardise the global import and export data and make that available to our members. And also of a lot of interest is the demand maps. So that both informs our strategy, but is also very interesting to a lot of people in the industry as well. So those are our priorities in the data and insight space. In terms of standards and product experience, we have the macadamia kernel standard and visual guide available, and posters and booklets and things, including showing the exceptions. And now we're in the final stages of drafting a nut and shell standard and also a standard for macadamia oil, which we understand will be the first formal standard in this space. The other project in relating to product experience is that we're really interested in working out when consumers can taste PV or oxidization or rancidity, because we know that there's no point in encouraging people to try macadamias if the first experience or any experience they have means that they won't repeat their purchase. But the baseline for that is what's the range that people can taste oxidization. So we plan to discover that range both in the US and also in China, and then to buy some products and review them back to range and see where the gap is and what we can potentially do to address that over time. Nutrition I've touched on, but we'll continue to create nutritional resources, and particularly some for dietitians, for them to pass on to their clients. Our nutritional narrative is macadamias are full of good fats, they're low in carbohydrate, and are a real food from nature, and that helps us manage inflammation in our body over time. The WMO membership is your way to be able to contribute to the future health of the industry. As said, we're very thankful for the 11 Kenyan companies who are already members, and we'd really encourage those of you who maybe it hasn't quite been the right time in the last year or 2 years to consider becoming a member in the future. The cost is $38 per metric ton of kernel each year, and the volume is the average of the 2 prior calendar years' production. We've got some information on our resources on our website, and I'm also very happy to have a chat with anyone who is interested in that. There is a minimum of US $5,000 fee per year. Here's all our contact details, our social handles, and other things. Thank you for the opportunity. I hope you have a wonderful conference, and if you'd like to know any more about the World Macadamia Organization, please be in contact. Thank you.
Amefika Miss Jacinta Ngwiri. Is she with us? Is she with us? Ako nasi? Ngwiri. Uko nasi? Okay. So she was to be here with us. Miss Rono, are you here with us? Yeah. Miss Rono. She's here with us. Yeah, good. Thank you. Tumpigie makofi. Yeah. Good. So, Peter Goye, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dixon. Good morning. Yeah, my name is Peter Ngogi. I work for Agripreneurship Nuts as an agronomist and a young entrepreneur stroke an employee. So I'll be taking you through this session on empowering youth and women in macadamia industry. I'm hoping to have a successful session all together, and I'm welcoming my speakers and the rest of the panelists to have a great moment together. So without wasting much time, I want to welcome Charity so that she can be able to make her presentation. Karibu, Charity.
Good morning. Good morning again. It's a beautiful, bright day, and we thank God for it. Yeah, my slides are there. My name is Charity Ndegwa. I am a director at Exotic EPZ. My colleague was here yesterday. We are processors and exporters of macadamia nuts in Kenya. When we started this business, I was a youth. Maybe that's why I was given this opportunity to speak on this topic. I was a youth and I'm still a woman. But miaka imesonga since we started the business, but at least I have an experience of the challenges of being a youth and being a woman in business, and especially in macadamia. Okay? So before we start with the slides, I just want us to reflect a bit. We just go back and reflect a little bit. When I was in school, in primary, my teachers, and one of them was my mom is recently retired, I used to be told, usome kwa bidii, usiende Kajembe High School. Anybody remember something like that? Tuliambiwa hivyo. Kajembe High School ni nini? Ukulima, si ni kweli? Right, so I performed very well and I went to high school. When I was in high school, I was told, work very hard so that you don't go to Kajembe College, ama Kajembe University. Si ni kweli? Are we together? Were we told that? At least I heard that so many times. Yeah, so perform very well so that you don't go to Kajembe College and go to the real university. Cynthia? Then, thank God, I also performed well. And then, when you go to college, many people, when they go to college, and then we come out of college, what is happening these days? Sometimes there are no jobs. Cynthia? A lot of tamaking, you know, young people are tamaking and looking for work. And when they don't get jobs, what do we tell them? Tunawambia nini? We are parents here. Sini kweli? What are we telling them? Come, I give you a piece of land. Right? Kuja uturudi nini? Kwa mashamba. Remember the narrative all along. Since primary, don't go to Kajembe High School. In fact, I remember being emphasized so many times that the only way to get out of the village is going to school. Is that not true, parents? That's what we have told our children all along. But then, now we are changing the narrative and telling these young people, agriculture, now come back. After we end a college, you know, and you are being told agriculture is the, education is the way to get out of the farm, then tukikosa kazi, tunaambiwa come back home, and I give you a piece of land. And where do you start from? Where do you start? So let's discuss that, okay? Right. So just before we go to the slides, some statistics which we already know. Number one, the average age of a Kenyan farmer. Who can make a guess? What's the average age of a Kenyan farmer right now? 65? I'm hearing 65? 60s? Right? The average age of a Kenyan farmer right now is 60. Even if we do a poll, how many people are below 35 years of age and are farmers? Inua tu mkono. Very good. How many hands are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Let's clap for those farmers. 7, around 10, yeah? Imagine out of 500 farmers, for example, you have 10 young farmers. 10, that's which percentage? 10 over 500, how much percentage of that, right? So that is Kenya. However, not to despair, because the average age of an American farmer is 58 years. America, eh? So that's developed world, eh? Yes, it's 58 years. So this issue of having our farmers who are above 50 years is a global issue. So it's not just Kenya that we are struggling with it. It's a global issue. So governments all over the world are looking for solutions and strategies of how we can encourage young people to take up agriculture and agribusiness. Now, the youth unemployment rate in Kenya, who can tell me the percentage right now? The youth unemployment rate? Any ideas? It's about 11.98%, which is quite high, right? So we want our young people, we're in the University of Embu right now, we don't want to be graduating 4,000 young people and that they don't have jobs, right? So we are going to talk about youth in agriculture and agripreneurship. It's no longer agriculture anymore. Sio ukulima tulikuwa tunajua kitambo that you just go to the farm, you know, you get whatever you get, and then it's like survival mode. Sini kweli? That's how agriculture has been. But we have seen that it is possible to have agriculture as a business. That's why it's being called agribusiness or agripreneurship. So let's go to the second slide. So this is a cry of our young people. They are saying, "Woi, hatuna jobs," right? So we have seen a lot of, even last year, one of the reasons why we had the Gen Z movement, and I mean, the young people are just agitated that there are no jobs in Kenya, and that is the truth. And I know right now we have our brothers, we have our sisters, we have our children right now who are looking for jobs, right? Next, right? So why does agripreneurship matter? One, it's because agriculture employs over 60% of the Kenyan workforce. And if we just come closer home to the macadamia industry, this industry along the whole value chain employs between 35,000 to 40,000 Kenyans, right? That's just employment of young people, men and women. And the majority of these jobs are in the local processing companies, 35,000 to 40,000. And that is not even talking about the farmer jobs, the 200,000 farmers that we've been talking about throughout this conference. Those are still jobs. So agriculture is the greatest employer of the Kenyan workforce, over 60%. We have talked about the youth unemployment, but agribusiness offers a lot of opportunities. You know, when young people think about agriculture, for a long time, they've been thinking about, you know, going to the farm, that Kajembe High School, going to the farm and taking that age, so that young people are not coming up, you are already after high school, after university, you're not getting a job, and then you are thinking about agriculture as an alternative at that point. I think it's a bit late at that point. Next slide. So agripreneurship is a combination of agriculture and entrepreneurship, and involves innovation across the value chain. If you just think about macadamia sector, I mean, from production all the way to processing and value addition and export, there are a lot of opportunities across that value chain. And that's just macadamia. There are so many other value chains we can talk about where young people can plug in and make a living out of agriculture. So it's about focusing on adding value, solving food system challenges, and generating profit. When we call it agripreneurship, it's a business, which means it needs to be making money and generating a profit, generating a livelihood for the entrepreneur, and also creating jobs for many other young people. So what are the barriers for entry? Next slide, please. The barriers for entry, especially for young people, and this could also apply for women as well. Number one, limited access to land and capital. For the young people who are here, who are already farming, I don't know, but there could be some of you who have land because of inheritance, right? Isn't it? The young people who are farming, the land, the access to land is a big issue, yeah? And when we talk to farmers, when we go to training and we ask them, so where are your sons and your daughters? And they're like, well, I'm still young, I'm still farming as a parent, so kijana ako huko nje anatafuta nini? Anatafuta kazi, right? Because maybe the land size is not there, it is not enough, or it has not been subdivided. So the young people, the young person don't have a place to farm. So limited access to land is one. Poor access to markets and agri-technology. So this is what we hear young people talking about. They don't know where to sell their products. They don't have the right technology to take their products to market. That's another barrier. Limited business and technical skills. We've just said that the 4K clubs are no longer happening in primary schools. So you get to a point, yes, you want to do agribusiness, but you don't know where to start. You don't have the technical capacity to do that. Then, this is a major one, the perception of agriculture as labor-intensive and low return. You know, we have seen, most young people have seen their parents toiling, years and years of toiling, but they cannot really see, you know, much happening in their parents' lives. Many people are very traumatized. My mom and my father has been growing this crop, but have not seen growth. You know, it's just been suffering. So there's a lot of bad perception among young people, not all of them, but among some of them, that it's very labor intensive and the return is low. I personally, I remember, I come from Kirinyaga County, and we used to do horticultural crops. And I remember during the holidays, we used to wake up and go to the farm to pick French beans. Anybody knows French beans? Picking French beans is not a joke, you know? I remember going to the farm with a stool, ile stool ya jikoni. Like unaambiwa hii line lazima umalize, and you get so tired. And so when I was growing up, I'm like, I don't want to do this. You know, I really want to work hard and leave this place and not have to come back. So that perception influences the young people's decision on whether they are going to participate in agribusiness or not. However, next slide, where does potential lie? You know, so that young people don't just think that agriculture is about digging and all that labor-intensive work. Where is potential? Digital agriculture apps, and I think we have seen a lot of young people trying to come up with apps and ideas to do innovation in agri-sector. Even just in macadamia value chain, there are many opportunities on how we can digitize the value chain. At farming, we were talking the last 2 days about traceability, you know, softwares to do with traceability. There is that. So opportunities in digital agriculture, climate smart. We had a session yesterday about climate and resilient regenerative farming. Agri-processing and value chain, you can come in at the end of the value chain. You don't have to do the production part, and especially because we also don't have access to land. But you can come in at value addition. Come and take that raw product from these companies that are processing, add value to it, and there is money involved there. Agri-tourism is a new thing. E-commerce, you know, selling things online, and niche markets such as organics. You can also participate in innovations in food packaging, cold chain technologies, logistics. So what I'm saying, young people who are here, there are opportunities beyond just the production level, beyond the farming, beyond the labor-intensive, you know, perception that we have about agriculture. There are many areas that you can plug in the agriculture value chain. Next slide. We are almost done. So what is needed for success? Now that we've talked about the challenges, we have talked about where the potential lies. So what is needed for success so that young people can take up agripreneurship, you know, as a career alternative? Like they can come to University of Embu and have people select courses to do with agriculture, you know? So skills development and training, this is where institutions like University of Embu can come in, and many other institutions. Access to finance and business incubation, this is an area of, it's an opportunity, and people can take it up. One of the things that young people, and I experienced it when we were starting the business, access to finance is a big deal. Because if you go to a bank, there are very few banks that will support a startup. Yes, the potential is there in digital agriculture. Yes, the potential is there in value addition. But I still need some capital to start that business. So access to finance is an area that we need to collaborate as financial institutions and those people who are able to do business incubations, like NGOs and organizations like that, so that we can support young people for that. Affordable inputs for those who are doing production. Affordability of inputs is an issue. Mechanization. Remember, I have not seen anybody who has come up with a machine for picking French beans better. I'm still looking out for it because my dad is still growing French beans. And when I come home, even if they are harvesting, I will not get into that farm. You know, so there are opportunities there for mechanization, and at least these days there are appropriate new technologies that are coming up from countries like China. You know, tools that are making life much easier, but access to that information on those tools, access to finance to even buy those tools is still an issue. So digital tools, we have talked about them, and supportive policy and market infrastructure. As yesterday, the first day, when we had the session with Frank about the industry, he talked about the difference between the jobs created when we do macadamia in shell and the jobs created when we do value addition processing. It was like night and day. So that's where policy comes in. Yeah, like if you have policies that are supporting processing and value addition, then you can create more jobs and then absorb a lot of young people. Next slide. So there are some programs in Kenya for those the young people who are here, and even for parents. There are some programs and initiatives in Kenya. We have like Ajira Digital, Kenya Youth Agribusiness Strategy. You can look it up. We have Agri-Hubs. Yeah, I talked about business incubation as one area that can be used to support young people. So we do have Agri-Hubs by organizations like SNV, GIZ, and FAO. Please look them up. Private sector mentorship and investment platforms. There are many private sector initiatives that seek to support young people with mentorship in agribusiness space. And I can tell you there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of money out there for agribusinesses, and there's a lot of money out there for innovations in agribusiness space. There's a lot of support, but young people need to plug in. You know, you need to, and these days you cannot say you don't have information. We have the internet. We are always on our phones, you know. So instead of scrolling through Facebook and TikTok, look out for those opportunities. So who needs to act after all is said and done? Next slide, please. Who needs to act? Government, definitely, because of policies, you know, policies that support agripreneurship for young people. Funding, of course, the government has, like the Women Enterprise Fund, we have the Youth Fund. That's where the government comes in. Land reforms. We talked about one of the barriers of entry is lack of access to land. You know, there are opportunities there to look at our land reform so that young people can have access to land that doesn't have to come from their parents. There are many strategies that the government can employ. Private sector, definitely. If young people are producing, one of the main challenges they say is that they don't have market. But the markets are here. Like now we do have processing companies here. So those who are producing macadamia, reach out to the processing companies so that you don't have to sell your nuts to the brokers and get exploited. So market linkages, those that are able in private sector, financing and mentorship. NGOs, I've just talked about some of the initiatives that are run by NGOs. They come in to, you know, bridge a gap, as gaps of financing, gaps in terms of incubation. So those, there still needs more action there. And the youth themselves, you know, we cannot forget that perception is a big issue among the young people. So the youth themselves, we need an attitude shift. We need a lot of collaboration, and agribusiness is not easy. That I can tell you. It's not easy. At production level, there are challenges. At value addition, processing level, there are challenges. At whichever level you shall be playing, there are challenges. So just build your resilience. And finally, so sowing seeds of transformation is super, super important. As we are having this conversation today, we are sowing the seeds of transformation. We need to empower youth in empowering youth in agriculture is key to Kenya's food future, and not just Kenya. Remember, I've just said the average age of a farmer in the US is 58. So it's very important that the youth, the young people are involved in agriculture all over the world. And with the right support, youth can turn agriculture into a driver of innovation and prosperity. So young people and the parents who are here, let's encourage our people to come into agribusiness space. We have done it, and it is possible to be, it's doable, and there are so many opportunities that young people and even women can plug in and change the future of their families, and we change the future of our country and change the future of our continent. And by the way, Africa is the only continent that have arable land, enough arable land. So it means Africa is supposed to be feeding the world. In the near future, Africa should be the continent that is feeding the world. And the head of the Africa Development Bank, I hope I'm right, he says that the next millionaires are going to be farmers. The next millionaires are going to be farmers. So this is the right time. It's the right time for the young people to come in and look at the opportunities in the agribusiness space. Thank you.
Thank you, Charity, for such an insightful session. You've expanded our mind such that there are many opportunities that youth need to take up in this space of agriculture and especially macadamia industry. Thank you very much. I now want to dive into conversation with my panelists. With me, I have a young macadamia farmer by the name Kate. Kate, would you share your experience on the journey that you have had in, maybe I know you work with a cooperative, you are a young farmer, you've been into many areas, and I believe this experience will go a long way to help young youth who are in this meeting. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for this forum that we have. We are gaining a lot of education and a lot of knowledge. And I'd like to say that macadamia being the current brown gold, it's a crop that's meant to make us be financially independent. And I'd like to say that plants are alive, and they're alive because they give you fruit. And there are some of the things that we take for granted, like the soil. The soil we have is free. No one has to pay for the soil. And even the climate, no one has to pay for the climate. You only need to get the seed and plant. And I like to say that what we have is gold. And in the macadamia sector, we have a cooperative. And the cooperative is meant to bring farmers together so that they're able to have a say in what they plant. And as we know that numbers is everything, in everything that you do. The moment you have 1, 2, 3, 4, up to the end, you have power. So I really encourage farmers to join hands, join the cooperatives. That way you'll be able to say and even debate on your prices. Even more so when it comes to bargaining power. We have the bargaining power even to the government. When we go to the government, we have a say. When we go to the processors, we have a say, and we are able to dictate the prices for ourselves. So I'll really urge you to join cooperatives so that you are able to have it all well connected. Thank you.
Maybe, Kate, you can expand on issue to do with venye tunajua youths, they like urgent things. And the way we know macadamia, it takes long before it comes into production. How have it been in that line of thought?
Wow. Actually, you're very right. And I'd like to state categorically that you really have to be patient. Just as you take care of a child, you need to be the plant parent to your seed, your seedling. And you really have to water it, manure it. Just like you feed your child, you have to manure it. You have to look at your plant and see that actually whether it's sick. Just as a child gets sick, starts to cough, you have to give them remedies. You have to give them medication. In regards to pest control, we have agencies that are very good at it, and they actually tell us, they take us through the process. Kama tu vile tunaendaga kwa clinic, unapewa advice on how to take care of challenges in a human being. Just as I had mentioned, the plant is alive and you want fruit. And as the tree grows, you need to prune it. Kutoa utu to bad behaviors. You need to prune it. Because when you don't prune it, these behaviors are fully blown, or rather manifested in old age, in adulthood. So you really have to care for the tree, and it's a process. It's not an overnight game. I'll really call to the young people to have the virtue of patience. It's very important, especially when you are dealing with a tree that will actually serve you from one generation to another. You as the initial owner, you really have to own up the process and take care of it.
Thank you very much, Kate. So, hapa ni patience, and everything now will yield some fruits. Indio? Now I want to go to David Getonga. He is a young entrepreneur. I think he can introduce himself and make some presentation and share his journey as a youth, some of the challenges he has been facing and how he has been able to surmount them. Karibu, David.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Farmers and guests, good morning. My name is David Getonga. I think it's not my first time to speak, but I just appreciate the forum. For the 3 days, I can say for sure it is not waste of time. Just me. So, process at the same time, who is under the mentorship of the magnate, Madam Jane. I know the future is great. So what I would like to say is that for this discussion of youth in agribusiness or in agripreneurship, it is a discussion that actually, or it is something that we should have called off this meeting to go and plant and call youth to go and do planting. But I want to thank AFA for organizing such kind of a forum, highlighting some few things that I've encountered as a farmer and also as I engage or as I look forward to processing. From what Madam Charity has just said about one of the main challenges, actually, and the reason as to why many of us are here, that's because of the future of the industry. She has said that on average, most of the farmers that we have today, they are over 60 years or 60 years and above. So take an example, in the next like 10 years or 20 years, a farmer with 60 years, in the next 20 years, it means that he or she will not be able to tend that land or to attend to macadamia. Come to think of it in this way, if you are talking about inheriting macadamia, it will be very hard for me to inherit a chamber of macadamia if I've not been in the process of knowing how to cultivate macadamia. About macadamia in the next 20 years or 30 years, where we can, if we are not careful, we will go back to where macadamia or this industry began, where we thought macadamia is just a forestry. So it is very, very critical for us as young people, not even the young people, but even the processors, to know that in the next, where will we be? Where will be the industry be in the next 10, 20, or 30 years? And that is where we come in as young farmers. So what are we saying? So inherited factor, there are things that we are saying that we want to do. One of the things is, I'm refraining from calling it bottom-up, but we want to work from the low, from farming all the way to processing. Appreciating there are those people who have really, really, really paid the cost. For example, if I ask, let's say like tropical nut or exotic nut, in the macadamia that you are buying today, how much of that macadamia that you purchased today, you have contributed from planting, from nursery? That this tree, actually I have planted it or I've facilitated a farmer to plant it, and for sure, I am getting the real fruit or I'm eating the sweat of my labor. So what we are saying, we want to take it from the bottom part of it. So inherited factor, there is something that we are doing. One, we are setting up a very, very professional nursery, whereby We are going to use environmental friendly practices, water reusing, kind of a nursery, and then we bring young people. That is something that we are thinking about, so that we can be able to measure our input in the industry. We want to do something that in our nursery, we'll be doing coding from grafting. So when we do a code, when we give that tree a code, we are able to trace that tree from our nursery and to our farmers until harvest. How are we going to do it? So when we code that tree after grafting, we make sure that it is true to the variety. That is one, as we were told by the KEFIS. And then when you come as a customer, you purchase that tree or that seedling. If you purchase and you actually, you are not going so far, like we begin with Embu, we want to begin with Embu. We attach an agronomist a young man who will be following up on how to do planting, spacing, pruning, and also applying manure and fertilizers. We'll also, in future, because the industry is growing, and we are taking agriculture in a more digital way. So what are we saying? Maybe in future, in 10 or 20 years to come, we also be doing tokenization of our plant. What do I mean by that? We'll be giving an identifier to each and every plant that we plant in this nation, or where we are beginning, that is Embu. So we'll be also using technology like Google Maps, GPS maps. So specifically, I know this plant was planted here from our nursery, and this is the progress of this plant. We are able to trace the progress of that particular plant. We'll be coming to AFA because that is a program that we are thinking about as entity factor. So in the future, we'll be able to measure. In the next 10 years or in the past 10 years, we've been able to plant or to contribute to the system around 20,000 or 50,000 or 100 macadamia trees. The other part that we are doing is, and I spoke about it, it is what do young people love? And we want to take it in a very serious way, that we are doing sports and agriculture. So how are we going to do it? We are working with FKF, whereby we want to enroll football teams. To begin with, there are other types of sports, but we want to begin with football teams. Young people, because it is a serious thing, young people need to do it. And actually, it is very urgent, because we are sorting out the situation in the next 20 years. So we enroll them in a team, or we identify a team. We have already identified 3 teams. So we help them set up a professional or a good nursery. So this young man, rather than, you see, for those who are here, the processors, it is very expensive to sponsor a club, a football club. I have tried it, and mostly, one game will cost around between 30 and 50,000. And let's take it like which league? A regional league. I have one team in the regional league. They are traveling to Isiolo. So when they have an away game, it will cost them 50,000. They want 50,000 from me. So that is very expensive. So what are we saying? When you have a nursery, as a club, you sell the seedlings, you facilitate yourself. You employ yourself, and at the same time, you employ others. During the tournament and the matches, they'll be able to do other things. They'll be selling their seedlings. At the same time, if they are doing value addition, because we are going to facilitate them do value addition, they are able to showcase and to sell the product that they are value adding. What that means is, we'll have talent, we'll not lose talent. That is one thing. We'll not have idle people. So the young people will come up and appreciate agriculture. The other thing that we are going to do, we train them on how to be field officers, our agronomists. So if we come to a village like, let's say a place is called Embu, and there are people, we are talking of local football clubs, because we cannot plant in towns. So when we come here, we ensure that we train them on how to follow up on farmers, pests and diseases, and we attach them to the farmers. All right? We attach them to specific farmers. One, we protect that tree, that macadamia. You see, these youths, we have a common challenge of theft. If they come from that locality, it will be very hard for for people to steal, because this is our product. This is our product. The other issue will be we help them establish a store. So they become our middlemen. That club becomes our middlemen. So if we have like Kiangema, we have Kiangema store. They'll be registered as CBO. All right? So they have store. So they'll be trained on quality, and they'll be bringing products to us at a very nice prices. And what are we saying? Kindly, for processors, if we come as a club or a group of young people, kindly give us special prices. At least we can try to motivate these people, because it's a serious and urgent thing that we need to do. Lastly, as I finish, is what we're also saying, we are going also to enroll people, youth living with disabilities at the same time. So they come up together, they form a group, and the same things that we are doing, setting a nursery for them, all right? Having a store for them, and having other youths do something about them. So my request, I don't know whether I get another chance, but let me finish with my request when it comes to this. We are calling upon MACNAT. I know MACNAT is a good organization and association. AFA, the international bodies. How are we now going? The roadmap. What is the roadmap? This is where we want to begin. I said that we are setting up a good nursery. And I know other factories, they have good nurseries. So where are we going to begin? This is our request. In every county that grows macadamia, we organize a football tournament. All right? We organize a football tournament. There we train young people. During that tournament, let's say like in Embu, we call upon all teams that we are able to, that we can accommodate. So we come up with a program whereby we are going to give them seedlings, teach them on how to farm, and also at the grassroots, at the club levels, we are able to know if there is a place they can plant. Let the government of Embu, for example, give this youth or this club an access to idle lands. I know the idle lands that the young people, they can come up together and plant their seedlings and do projects. That one is something that we need to do. During that tournament, we can have sessions. We have professionals here. We have mental health people we have people who can mentor them on health issues. Our youth are dying because of lack of hope. We have a session whereby we can talk to them, speak to them, tell them that life is possible. Even if you don't have a job, we can work in agriculture and do something meaningful in the future. That is something that I'm requesting. So we'll be writing a proposal as edited factor and youths to you, MACNAT, the government, and what that. We'll be welcoming you to do a tournament in all counties that do macadamia, and we have a movement. We'll have a movement of young people in agriculture. And I know the future of macadamia will be great. And that one, I assure you, for sure, if you hold our hands, itakuwa sawa. Watu wa benki akina David Gitonga naona hapa ABSA, form tutafutie a circle. Hata nimeona in the theme it is empowering the next generation to agripreneur. Nimeita Enga circle, Enga movement, whereby we are going to empower the next generation to what? To agripreneur. And I know it begins now. As we come out of this place, let us have that in mind, that we are going to change the generation, and the future of macadamia is in the hands of young people. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Gitonga. That's a remarkable one. As a youth entrepreneur, how you started and how you are overcoming the barrier and bringing youth so that they can be in this space of macadamia. Thank you very much. I want to move to Madam Jacinta Nguiri. She will be introducing herself better. But I have two questions for you. I know you have a program that is dealing with youth. Question number one, I would like you to share the kind of milestones you have been able to achieve since inception, since you started. Then number two, how can you plug macadamia youths in your program?
Thank you very much, moderator. Let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Jacinta Nguiri. I work at the Ministry of Agriculture as a director there. and currently I am program coordinator for youth program that is called Embu Youth Kenya program. Before I go very far, let me appreciate the organization of this conference. And I have been reading through and participating a few sessions, and I am very glad about what we are learning out of this conference. We are all aware that macadamia is gold for Kenya. We are globally the 4th largest producer, and this means we have a very big potential, and this is a sector and an industry which we can grow for a very big benefit for Kenyans, and particularly our youth. I want to thank Charity also for making a very good presentation that has laid a big background of what it entails for youth in agriculture and more so in agribusiness. And I also admire Gitonga's initiative of trying to bring the youth together. And having worked with the youth for now about 6 years or so, I can't agree more in what they have said. And we have a very big potential in Kenya, having a very big population, about 35% of Kenyans being youth. And this is a very big potential that we can harness. And we have had it, and I think repeatedly, that our farmers are getting old, and agriculture is transforming globally and even nationally. And here we need the youth right at the driving seat. And I support this highly, because I know, having worked with a number of youths, I can see that indeed, if we handhold them, the way Gitonga is appealing, show them the way. Once they are settled on what to do, we hold hands together and move together with them. We'll be able to succeed and also be able to tackle this very big challenge we are having of unemployment for youth. Let me begin by answering what moderator has asked. I coordinate a program called Embu Youth Kenya program. Embu is an acronym. It stands for Empowering Novel Agribusiness-Led Employment. So we look out to empower youths that come up with novel, is new ideas, initiatives that we feel can be able to succeed and absorb youth to agribusiness so that they're able to make money, they are able to earn a livelihood, and get out of what my brother Gitonga is saying, the frustration of joblessness. And agriculture can employ a lot of youths. And as my sister is saying, that the next millionaires or billionaire are going to be from agriculture. It is very, very, very true. I know this because we are financing some youths, some that are doing very well, or working together with one of the youths that is running a business to the tune of almost 22 million. And I have come to understand, once we are able to handhold these youth, harness what they want to do, we can move these youth to greater height. The Embu Youth Kenya program is funded by the government of Kenya and the African Development Bank. This program was as a result of the need to implement the Youth Agribusiness Strategy Initiative, which was came into place from 2018. We appreciate we need youths in agriculture. That is for fact. And as my sister has said, and which is true, one of the challenges that was brought out of the study of why youth are not doing business in agriculture and agriculture in general is attitude. The other issue is lack of finances. The other issue, and she has mentioned many of them, access to land. The other is access to information, and the other is skills. And when this strategy that was came into place, led by the Ministry of Agriculture, we asked ourselves, okay, we have the policy here, we have the strategy, let's then start to address the challenges. And that is what gave birth to the Embu Youth Kenya program. This program took two challenges, two issues. Number one is skill gaps in agribusiness. Our youth want to do business, but they need the skills. We are all aware businesses are different. Agriculture businesses are slightly different from other businesses. We face different challenges. We are prone to climate, and we are prone to so many things. So the skills to run an agriculture business is key to have. And that is one of the challenges that the Enable Youth Kenya program picked. The other one, which again is very major, and everyone speaking here, I'm sure, has talked about inadequate access to finances. And this also was picked by the ministry and was also incorporated in this program. So the program addresses two things: skills enhancement for youth to be able to effectively, sustainably succeed when they are doing their agribusiness. And the other one is access to finances, that is credit. Initially, the project was meant to be a grant, but unfortunately it came just after another program that the ministry was, the government was implementing, where it was realized that some of the finances that the government gave to do agriculture did not get to the right place, and there was nothing to show for that financing. So quickly the ministry decided, okay, instead of making this to be a grant, let us give this access to credit, but in a slightly different way. So the bank supported the program with a portfolio of almost 4 billion. That time it was 3 billion, but going at the dollar exchange now, we are talking the project is about 4 billion. And about 80% of this resource is available for lending to the youth in 3 facilities. So the first facility is $500 million US, which is rolled to the youth through a soft loan, or no, an interest-free loan. And then we have another facility, $600 million, that is also loaned to the youth through a soft loan. And we have $800 million USD available to the youth as a risk guarantee. So these facilities have already been rolled out. The first two, so the interest-free and the soft loan has already been rolled out to the youth. And as we speak now, we have about 230 youth who have already started to access, who are already have already accessed the loan, and they are running with their businesses. And the risk guarantee, unfortunately, has not rolled out. Out of these 250, we have consumed about 260 million. I need to appreciate that there has been some challenges in terms of how far the money is rolling out, but that is being addressed starting last year, and we want to believe by the time the project comes to an end in June 2027, we will be able to have rolled out all these facilities. Our youth are in many value chains, cutting across crops, cutting across fisheries, livestock, input supply, aggregation, information, and communication technology. And we are seeing those that have picked and are able to roll out their businesses well with the guidance of the ministry and the Agriculture Finance Corporation. We have been able to realize very good success. Let me say the importance of ensuring we have a good mechanism to handhold the youth. Let the youth not walk alone. As financing is all out, we've been doing a lot of monitoring and filling in the gaps, and we are sure that this project, by the time it comes to an end, will have very great impact. When it comes to this very key sector of macadamia, I read somewhere, I thought whether I am correct, about 12 billion in terms of income annually. This also presents the youth with a lot of opportunities. What I want to mention is the youth are better off engaged in the higher nodes of value chains. Much as we appreciate they can be in production, they can be in the farm, What we have realized is the youth need to be in the nodes that make money quickly, efficiently, and that way I can see this sector also being able to absorb a lot of youth. My brother Getonga has talked about the nursery. We are in short of adequate seeds, and this is an area that the youth can, of course, come together as individuals and as groups. And I want to say we are supporting one youth in our ministry who, I don't know whether some of you know Kim Planter. It's a giant seedling company, and we've been able to support them to the tune of almost 4 million. And if groups come together, we can be able to support them in development and establishment of nurseries so that they are able to supply the seedlings to the farmers. So that is a very, very good opportunity. I think macadamia seedling is one of the most expensive we have seen in the market. And therefore our youth can be able to make a lot of money. Come to the processing itself. Come to aggregation, information and technology, especially linking the farmers and being also an industry where we are doing export. Why not? The youths can even be able to participate as outgrowers or joining together with the smallholders or large-scale producers. We can be able to push a lot of youths in this subsector, and they can make a lot of money. So my call is let's recruit, and for now I want also to inform that we are still recruiting youths that are here that are struggling with finances. I'm here to let you know you can join the program when we advertise, and join for skill development and also financing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Jacinta, for such an insightful session with you. I want to quickly go to Madam Rose from CBI to share her experiences. And I understand you have a program of empowerment with women. Kindly, would you share some knowledge to the farmers and even the delegates seated?
Thank you very much. I must appreciate the organizers of this conference and congratulate them for a really well-organized event. And to introduce myself, my name is Rose Rono. I am an institutional consultant for CBI Netherlands. I'm sure some of you have heard about CBI. It's an agency of the Netherlands government that is looking at promoting imports from developing countries. CBI Netherlands has really supported specifically Kenya. We do have 2 projects in Kenya. One of the projects is on women economic empowerment. And specifically on this project for women economic empowerment, we are focusing on access to finance. So we are supporting women entrepreneurs, connecting them to banks, supporting them to be able to meet the requirements of financial institutions, for them to be able to access loans, for them to be able to eventually export. We also have a focus area of access to markets. We are supporting trade support institutions, some of whom are in the public sector, some of whom are business development organizations, and also associations. And the support we are giving to these specific trade support institutions is to strengthen them to become responsive to the needs of women entrepreneurs. We also have another focus area of strengthening women associations. We appreciate that partnerships are the ones which are able to promote exports. So we are looking at investing and supporting women associations, creating an umbrella network for them to be able to work together. Most importantly is our last pillar, which is inclusion of women at the grassroots, where we are specifically focusing on the macadamia value chain. And initially, when we started the project back in 2021, we were looking at the tea value chain, but we did have a dedicated project on macadamia, and we felt that we could be able to consolidate our efforts if on this particular project for women economic empowerment, we could focus also on the macadamia project or the macadamia value chain. We have been working with 6 processors. We started out with Onja Wone. I think some of you might be knowing a processor called Onja Wone in Bungoma County. And we've supported Onja Wone specifically building their capacity to understand the importance of investing in their value chain, investing in farmers, investing in extension workers, working closely with the county and other suppliers and other partners in their networks. We have also supported that particular processor in training the farmers, specifically training the farmers who are supporting them. We targeted women farmers, and we trained them on good agronomy practices. We also trained on post-harvest handling, and I think we are able to report that this year we have received some really good reports in terms of the quality of nut that has been supplied to the processor. And early this year, we have now scaled up our effort to 5 other processors, which include Village Nut, includes Privam, includes Tropical Nuts, Batian, Oriental Enterprise, and I think an Oriental Enterprise. So we are looking at the successes that we saw from Onjawone, where we trained the extension workers, also trained the county extension, because we also work in partnership with the county. We are looking at scaling up to these other 5 processors to support them. But in maybe aligning with the topic of discussion in this panel in terms of including youth, one of the interesting things that we got when we had discussions with the processors in Embu, specifically Village Nut, is the importance of including the whole family. Our project is Women Economic Empowerment. So initially we started out by targeting specifically women, but upon discussions with the other 5 processors that I've mentioned, we have pivoted our approach from not only looking at supporting women, but looking at supporting the whole family. So our training programs are not going to only focus on women, but they are going to focus on including the man, also including the youth. And I think this is really important with the discussions that we've had this morning, specifically looking at how does macadamia look like in the next 20 and 30 years. So looking at how we can be able to invest in the young people so they feel as, being part of the business. I also want to talk about our other project. We do have another project that is now looking specifically at macadamia in terms of export development. And in that particular project, we are also supporting quite a number of processors, and we're looking at corporate social responsibility. So we are supporting them to conduct internal audits, to look at how they are treating their employees, how they are relating to the community, and helping them to be able to come up with corporate social responsibility plans, because we are looking at supporting sustainable and inclusive development. We also have within the project specifically looking at digitization of processors, so looking at how we can be able to utilize data to be able to ensure that whatever seedlings we are planting, we are getting higher yields, when we are reducing in terms of the losses of the number of seedlings you get at the end of 2 years, and also supporting processors who are looking at automating their systems. So those are some of the things that we have been working as CBI. Those who have not heard about us, we look forward to engaging you because our project is running all the way up to 2027, so we still do have bandwidth to continue supporting other processors. So we welcome you, and maybe one of my parting shot is specifically to processors. We cannot operate in isolation. The value chain itself really is much more effective when we have partnerships as opposed to competing with each other. We need to be able to cooperate and have competition that is healthy. So and how does that look like? That looks like working with each other, growing with each other. And I really like what one of my colleagues here mentioned, that the fruit or the nut that you're receiving at the factory, what contribution have you had from it? Because I think we all know the length of time it takes to be able to grow a seedling. So I think we need to be able to partner, we need to be able to grow together, and I really thank the organizers for this conference because that's the beginning of having a very strong and powerful industry.
Thank you, Rose, for that and for telling us what CBI is doing regarding youth empowerment and women inclusion in this industry. And I believe we have heard from our panelists, and now we want to move back to our audience so that we can get questions. and see the way forward for the industry regarding youth and women empowerment. Over to you, Dixon.
Thank you, thank you. A lot of applause to our panelists. Come on, you can do better. Yeah, I was consulting whether we have time for a question or two. So, and yes, we do. Maybe one or two. So please, we have one. Bon engineer.
Thank you for the opportunity, Bon MC. My name is Enosh Akuma. I'm an interested party in the macadamia value chain. I've worked for AFA, I've worked for the Minister of Agriculture, and I must thank the organizers of this conference for putting us together here. It would have been a better timing than now because the macadamia value chain has a lot of challenges. So discussions from this 3-day conference will ensure that some of the solutions we need to improve the value chains come and they're implemented. So I must thank the organizers. I want to thank the panelists sitting there for unbundling the youth involvement in macadamia. But my question is one, I don't want to speak like I'm making any remarks. I didn't hear the panelists discussing how to make the macadamia value chain sexy. The context of sex is attractiveness, so don't misunderstand me. Make the value chain sexy. When you go outside here, the motorbikes are all with youth. Why? There is something attractive about the motorbikes that is not attractive in macadamia. So panelists, how do we make the value chain sexy or attractive so that we can get more youth on board? The issue of that bit is lacking. We can say we support youth here and there, but what is this lacking that the youth want to see to invest in macadamia? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. I hope one of you have highlighted that. Yes?
Thank you so much, panelists, once again. My question is to the director from the ministry about the Enable Youth program. I was just interacting with one of the young people here, and clearly, and I agree with them, there's a lot of despair of how practical these initiatives are. And I can testify that there have been quite a lot of such programs. I think Enable is a very common name. There have been a few programs like that, a number of other youth programs for incubating the youths. The confidence of the youth, frankly speaking, is not so much, they don't think these things will work. And also, perhaps, I know I've been following it. I know there was a last call, which was November or October last year. And the youths I work with, I met a few, none of them even knew or applied about it. If today you have young people here, how do they know that it's being advertised? Which forums are available? And how confident can we encourage them to know that if indeed they join the program, they actually get the results, or they'll be put in the program? Or, to make it blunter, some of them feel, which now unfortunately, especially with the county initiatives, is a feeling that, you know, the selection has already been made. Why must I apply? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So we will take those two questions. Charity, you want to go for the sexy part of how do we make it more attractive? I think it's a new vocab that you've just gotten from Bon Engineer. Please, Charity.
I will not repeat it.
Please.
I was struggling to understand what that vocabulary means, but I think what we have mentioned is that there are many opportunities along the value chain, and I think what young people struggle with is at the production level. Yeah, my colleague here has talked about the virtue of patience and all that, and Jacinta has also alluded to it. That study has shown that young people want to be involved in that part of the value chain where they are earning faster, and also they're utilizing the skills that they have learned in school. If you look at somebody who is a graduate, they feel like going back to the farm and doing the planting, one, will take time, and two, it is not utilizing. Yeah? But we are saying even that, we need young people there. Even that, because if our farmers are at 60 years, then it means in the next 10, 20 years, we don't have somebody to take care of the tree. And the sector must be supported by production. At the end of the day, we still need young people in production. And one of the low-hanging fruits that we can employ right now as we get out of these conferences, we farmers who are 60 years and above, how are we bringing our young people on board? We have young people who are along the value chain, transporting, doing the trading business, and running around with motorbikes, but that may not be sustainable. I think for the last 3 days we have been talking about is how do we processors move closer to the farmer. So as much as young people are finding that part of the value chain attractive, it may not be sustainable because we want to get close to the farmer, we want to interact with the farmer directly. So it is good for young people and for us who are farmers and we have sons and we have daughters. How can we already incorporate them in the production? Can we give them a few trees? If you have, I know we have farmers here who have 600 trees. Can we assign some of these trees to our young people, you know, and even our women at home? Can we assign some of those trees and tell them, take care of these 50 trees, which can also help curb the theft issue that we are struggling with, yeah? Because the young person is out there doing motorbike, but the parent is, you know, the owner of the land and doing all the farming, and the money from the macadamia trees is just to the parent. So that's a low-hanging fruit that we can think about as the farmers who are getting older. So, but back to the question is, there are many opportunities along the value chain that are that word that are more attractive to the young people. We talked about digitization. There are many opportunities. A lot of us processors are struggling to digitalize our processes. So that's an area that young people who have skills in IT and technology can come in. Value addition. You know, there are many opportunities of utilizing macadamia and adding value and having so many products. If you go through the exhibition, you have seen people who are doing cookies, others are doing muffins. There are so many opportunities. And one of the things that I see in our competing countries like South Africa and Australia, like Australia, they even run competition, which is where, you know, Getonga was talking about the association. As we grow as an industry, they even run competition on innovations using macadamia. If you go to the Australia Macadamia Association website, you will see a lot of that. So there are many opportunities for young people to come on board. Yeah, research, innovation, nurseries is a good area. But in short, what I'm saying is that let's not look at the value chain from a production perspective only. Look at that value chain from, you know, many angles. The whole value chain has so many opportunities. Even if you want to be a trader, you can be a different trader. You know, a trader who is utilizing technology, you know, in doing the trading business. So there are many opportunities for young people. Just come on board, you know, bring your ideas. We are here, we are ready. Let's hear from you. Bring those ideas and we see how we can work together.
Yes. Ideas could also come from the youths. Let them come and show us how to do the TikTok on some of these things, yeah? Yeah, so over to you, Jacinta. There was a question, yeah? You got it?
Yes. I got it very, very clearly, and thank you very much. And let me say, tell you good people, out of so many programs that government has ever initiated, I haven't seen one very, very innovative like Embu. Why am I saying this? This program, the way it is designed, let me even inform you that we are supposed to incubate 2,080 youths in the life of the program and finance only 1,200. So from the name, Embu, Empowering Novel Agribusiness-Led Employment, that is where elimination begins. This program was not meant for everyone, because when a youth comes and want to do just an ordinary agribusiness, just what the mother is doing, the father is doing, the production is the same way, you know, the competition is still there for the youth and the market, that may not work very well. And now we have seen a lot of our youths are coming in that kind of a shape. But the intention of the program, and that's why you find the number is very small. We are supposed to finance only 1,200 using these 3 very innovative facilities. So it means a youth coming needs to come with a very innovative idea. And that is why we are saying youth need to go to the higher nodes of the value chains. If it's like macadamia, they need to analyze very well. If I go to the production, what is the competition like? What are the challenges like? Am I just coming to compete just like any other? And the ones who have come with very innovative and creative ideas, they have succeeded. And that is where we need to excel. And once we recruit the youths, they go through incubation process. I remember I told you one of the intervention is skill development. And we help them by elimination, by telling them, okay, get out of production. And I'm not saying production is good, it depends on what you're producing. Yeah. If it's high value, it's fine. But look for higher nodes where you can apply a lot of creativity. Okay. And those who have done that have succeeded. And the perception that this is a program for everybody, I think that I want to dispel that. Okay. And say that let youths come with very innovative ideas and they are going to succeed. How we recruit? Normally, this program, we're supposed to recruit 4 cycles. We've already recruited up to the 4th cycle, but that is still ongoing. But the project is still going until 2027. We'll still continue to recruit through many other means. First, we advertise in the papers. We send letters to counties, all of them, so that they can be able to scout those youths they have worked with that have very good ideas and then bring them on board. Because at the ministry, at the headquarters, we are not able to spot these youths. We advertise and ask the youths to scout and bring to us those youths who have very good ideas, so that they can benefit from the program. We send in social media. We have a website, and when website in Kilimo under Kilimo website, it is there. We have a program website. All the information is there. It's there. So thank you.
Thank you. So it's out there. It's only that probably inatupita hapa kule, lakini now that we know, we will be vigilant. So I want us to give a big round of applause to our team this morning. Pitangoge, Charity, Catherine, Getonga, Jacinta, and Rono. So thank you very much. We can have our seats. Thank you. Thank you. Group photo. Yeah, group photo. Yeah, thank you. I would have forgotten that. So please, let's have a group photo. So you will allow us to go back to back because we had said today we want to wind up a bit early to quickly to our next session this morning. Is it morning? Yeah, this morning. Things to do with money, pesa. So we will have our panelists this morning for the next session very quickly. Let's clap for them. A big round of applause. Yeah, thank you. I can see even the lady there. This is what you call round of applause. Yeah, thank you. So on to the next. We want to invite our moderator for the next session, Lisa Murioki. Hey, come on, yeah, we can clap for her. Lisa Morioki. She will be our moderator for our next session, which is financing investments in the macadamia industry, macadamia value chain. So our speaker for this session will be Rahab Bogwa from Family Bank. Are you with us? Yes, she's here. Let's clap for her, yeah. Thank you, welcome on stage. Then we will be joined by our team of panelists. We have Mweti Kobia from Nutrinuts. A round of applause for Mweti. Yes, please. Then we have Juma Nyateko from Equity Bank. Yes, a round of applause to Juma. Then we have Esther Muthe from Root Capital. A round of applause. Yes, thank you. Then we have Dan Munyambu from ABSA. Where? A round of applause. From ABSA, yes, welcome on stage. And our last one will be It's designated. Yeah? So we have a farmer with us, Getonga, as our last panelist on that. A lot of applause to Getonga. Yes, so take us through the money issues, investments issues, and over to you, Lisa. Thank you. Oh, good.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for attending the session. My name is Lisa Morioki from Afrimac Nut Company Limited, and I will be moderating this session on money. We're talking about financial investments across the entire value chain. To begin, we will have Mwiti Kobia, Director of NutriNuts, to take us through a presentation of how financing has been happening in the macadamia sector, the opportunities, the challenges, and the way forward. So, Mr. Kobia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, everyone. I think this is a very important session. After discussing everything else, I think we are all in agreement. The most important thing ni nini naingia kwa mfuko, si ndio? Ama kwa account. So yeah, we'll be taking you through this morning session. Okay. So Family Bank will start with the presentation, then we'll do our presentation after that.
So before Rehab starts her presentation, the form one, we also joined on the panel by a representative from KCD, yes? Yeah, we just missed her from the list. We are so sorry, we apologize, please. Let's give her a loud applause, please, please, yes. Thank you. So, thank you. We are full house, yes? So, Madam Rehab, over to you.
Our organizers of this event are AFA and the MacNut processors, all the farmers, all the processors, all the exporters, and all the invited guests. Good morning. My name is Rehab Bogwa, like it has mentioned, and I work at Family Bank. And we are really excited. Allow me to really say thanks for the organizers of this event, which is very crucial and very timely for us to be able to see how we can be able to collaborate in this industry of macadamia and of course sustain it for the next many years, 20 years, 30 years. So we really appreciate as a bank for this invite. And for us, I also want to appreciate, and especially the speakers who are here, very good insight about the youth and women. And as for the bank, Family Bank will be able to see what we have. So just to start off is just to elevate, like as a bank, we are very much wary and we acknowledge the good work being done by the whole ecosystem of macadamia across the country. And as a bank, we've been able to embrace that. And how we have been able to do that is to acknowledge all their challenges and coming up with the tailor-made solutions, which we've been able to make strides. But as I can look in the house, we have quite a number of farmers and processors, and I can attest to you, it's only a small portion as a bank we've been able to impact. So with this kind of forum, I'm sure we should be able to collaborate more, not only even in the family bank, and of course we have other FIs here, and we are here to give this. So allow me just to go through. You can move. That's right. Of course, I may not dwell on so much about the bank, but it is good to realize that as a bank, there is why we exist, and that is why we choose to work together with the whole ecosystem, so that our vision is to lead in a positive transformation of people's life in Africa. And not only in Africa, we are here for those macadamia fraternity. And of course, a lot of values of one winning together. That's why we are here, so that we see how we can collaborate. And of course, how we impact is by, you will hear what we have to provide. So you can move to the next slide. And of course, as a bank, this is 100%, as a bank, 100% local bank, whereby we have been existing for the last 40 years, and the inception of the bank, we supported agriculture, and that we are here also to support agriculture. You can move. Of course, over the years, we have had a story, and which is a good story. We can move. We can move again, so that we go to the whole thing. Of course, we have all our channels across the network with 95 branches and so other channels which will facilitate us, even as farmers, as processors, to be able to collaborate. You can move. So for our discussion today, or our event for the last 3 months, as a bank, we've been able to embrace the farmers, the processors, the exporters, and of course, we continue to see how well can we continue the collaboration. And that's why we are here for across the country and for those who do international markets. We can move. One of the things as a bank is to acknowledge the challenges, because if you do not get to know the gaps of the partners you're partnering with, you may not be able even to offer the solution. So for us, we are much aware of the challenges which are normally faced in this industry of macadamia, from what has been mentioned here severally, the theft of the nuts. And of course, sometimes the farmers, some of them, depending on where they are located, they are not able to get involved in setting up the prices. And of course, the fluctuation of the prices in the market. But I believe with our current MacNut Association and others, that one should be able to be done. And of course, with our AFA, the policies, sometimes over the time we have lacked the guidelines, but I'm sure they've been able to fast track that. And of course, unstructured markets. And this one we can really understand. After the processors process the macadamia, so you can imagine that kind of market. And this is where we are here. We want to see how do we grow that. The financial inclusion, that's why we are here as banks. We should be able to tell you what we have. And of course, how then do we maintain these plans when we grow them? You can move. Having said that, is it to access of affordable financing, like the team for the youth who are here? That is what we drive us as a bank. How well do we give affordable financing? How well do we give the credit? And how else do we even help our farmers to ensure that? So, because that is the only way we can be able to multiply it. And I like the discussion that how then do we keep on giving 10 seedlings, 20 seedlings for us to be able to manage the productivity. Of course, when you look at agriculture here in Kenya and across the world, we have quite a number of smallholders who are in agriculture, quite a number. And we still need, you still find most of them are still unbanked. And that is why as a bank we are here to see how can we continue on banking and giving affordable financing. And of course, as a bank we embrace platforms which are efficient in payment. For example, we have Family Pay, and of course, it actually facilitates the current clients we have for macadamia. And of course, we embrace not just using the traditional way of financing, and we embrace the current way without even security. Even as a farmer, there's a way we can use trade insurance schemes to be able to fund you as a processor, as an exporter. So those are the things we do. We can move. Having said that, as a bank, we have been contributing as in financing farmers, and together with the aggregators. Much more, how have we been able to identify the areas? We have been able to digitize the payments to drive financial inclusion. So for the farmers who are doing the farming, we have a system, we enable them so that as they continue selling their macadamia to the processors, to the aggregators, we have a system which facilitates them to do that. And of course, we also have, for farmers and aggregators, efficient facilities which help them to buy this macadamia. So through a solution like stock finance, we help them on maturity. They really don't have to struggle, and especially the aggregators, for them to be able to aggregate in good time and be able to send to the processors. And of course, we embrace partnership. This kind of partnership is whereby we are able to support our farmers. We have supporters like Aseri, whereby even when the clients, they want to be financed, the farmers, they don't have to really struggle with our traditional titles, the motor vehicles and all that. So we have partners with partners who are able to facilitate us to support the farmers. And of course, as a bank, we have adopted disruptive, non-traditional way of financing the whole ecosystem through supply chain. So, and that way, we are looking that we can be able to do more collaboration. Maybe we can move to the next. So to the whole macadamia system, whom I believe we are seated here, of course I've talked about the farmers through the partnership and a digital platform. And when we talk about the farmers here, we are also very keen to support the youth and the women. In the banking, we have women queen banking, and we are able to support the farmers through just some solution tailor-made for that. Also, we are able to support the processors through financing their plants. If you want to put up a plant, the bank is able to come through and be able to fund that for you to be able to work. And of course, we also do the machineries, and we are also able to do asset for logistics. Also for the macadamia exporters, you find most of them, they are the same one who do, some of them they do processing, and of course they have the market outside. We are able to facilitate them. And so we have done tailor-made solutions that we work with partners so that we are able to have the time bound of the timely order. So, and of course, for the export, as a bank, we've been able to look for partners who can come in instead of our exporters looking for securities to give us the titles, and the orders are so huge. We are able to use middlemen, collateral managers, so that we are able to do that. So having said that, the last slide. So this is what we have as the real solution. So for our farmers, we are able to support you to be able to buy the seedlings, to be able to buy the inputs. And like I said, really we are very seamless here, and we are able to make it very affordable at any of our branches. And of course, we have the bridging working capital, whereby either as a processor, as an exporter, you have some operation gaps. Working capital could be for short term. We are able to facilitate you, either an overdraft. We also have some lines we give you so that you're able to meet your operations as you wait for your buyers abroad to make payment. So what is critical here, again, like I mentioned, the structured finance here. You may want to call it commodity financing or macadamia financing. It's a solution we give you beforehand so that you're able to buy the seedling from the farmers. We call it pre-shipment, but it's just a working capital which helps you to accumulate the stock. I know the peak season, it is running. If I'm not wrong, it's running. And for those I have seen, we have partnered, they can attest. We've been able to make sure that they have been able to buy this commodity from the farmers, and they'll be able to stock, awaiting to ship to their clients. So the other things we do, we encourage for those who are trading outside. We've been able, if they have buyers abroad, we're able to use an instrument for buying, which they are given by their clients abroad, like a letter of credit. That is a commitment that if you ship me this kind, this style 1 or style 2 in good condition, I should be able to pay you at this particular time. We do a lot of discounting of those documents. And of course, there are others who are money, those exporters, they're able to use their money. But upon shipping, they're able to bring us all their shipping document. As a bank, we're able to avail money to them as we wait for the payment which is coming from their buyers abroad. So those are solutions we have at the bank for those who are exporting. And of course, for logistic purpose, it could be for the same processors, could be for aggregators. We are able to give you financing for asset finance for logistic purpose. We are also able to finance you for your packing machines, your sorting machines, your shellers, your dryers, through instruments which we use for letters of import credit, whereby you don't have to commit your money beforehand before you have seen your drying machine. We are able to advise your sellers abroad that once they ship the machine, then we will be able to take care of them. So you don't have to worry. Perhaps you're here, you're thinking now, I have been doing so much of aggregation, I've been doing so much of farming, I would want to set my plant, then Family Bank will be able to come through that. So I would want to really stop there. But as a bank, why we feel that we stand a better chance is because not only that we do just financing and let you go. One thing I mentioned is we do much more of self-securing, self-liquidating. That macadamia shell or nuts, we use it as a security, all right? When we use it as a security, as a processor, we keep it in your warehouse. In your warehouse, we'll bring a third eye, a collateral manager who will manage for us. And we'll be able to monitor as you process, as you style them from 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you ship them to your buyer, we're able to monitor them. And there's a way we are able to really get back our money. So as a bank, we have embraced non-traditional way of financing. Much more, number 2, is the advisory. We are not just to finance and have a gain. Somebody said now, today is not about the competition or just have it on your own. For us, it's about the collaborations with our customer. And then much more as a bank, we've been able to look for partners who can come. We work together. We work with African Guarantee Fund who are able to secure you. Assuming you're buying an equipment, and even if we are sending a letter of credit, we are able to secure you up to 50%. We tell you can add us 50 or 75% for women. That's why I said we have a solution for women. So like I've said that, and also we are very competitive. Not to say that my colleagues here, they are not competitive, but there is a way we see it as house. And for me, it's just to give you a commitment, even with this event, that we can do much more. You are free to intermingle and then see how well can we build this relationship. So with that, I really appreciate, and I'm looking forward to make more partnership with you. Before I end, allow me to introduce we have a branch manager around, and most of the time the collaboration, the partnership we have is the one who takes care of them as much as I sit. Yeah, we have David Mwembia. You can wave to the... He's David Mwembia. He's our branch manager here in Embu. And he's the one who takes care. He has quite a portfolio. Thank you so much for your support. And with me, I have 2 experts who deal with macadamia. I have Alex Mwangi. He's one of our corporate relationship. He has quite a portfolio here. We also have a trade finance expert here. And we really thank you for that. So those are the teams who will be talking to, including myself. As I end, mine I said is Rehab, taking lead of corporate banking and trade finance in the bank. I really thank you for taking your time.
Thank you very, very much, Rehab. That was very enlightening, and I appreciate your understanding of the macadamia sector. You have spoken about the different styles, about the equipment, the crackers, the dryers. It means you have an understanding of the entire value chain. So Family Bank, asante sana, courtesy of Rehab. And now I'd like to introduce Mwiti Kobia of NutriNut, who will give us a small presentation. Karibu sana, Mwiti.
My name is Mwiti Kobia, Director Nutrients and Fruits Limited, and also the Vice Chair of MacNut Association of Kenya. I'll be doing a presentation on the current position of the financing in the sector, the challenges and the solutions from the farm level. Who have started getting into the financing of the industry, as you've seen from Family Bank, Equity, and others are slowly getting to finance the sector. The main financing challenges, can move to the next slide. The main financing challenges that the sector is facing is low financing by our local financing institutions, unfavorable financing terms by our finance institutions. We think we have a model that our local financing institutions have is one blanket fits all, which can't work for us. The same terms of heavy collateral based for the real estate. The real estate is in the business of developing properties. So those are their securities. For us, the farmers, the processing, we are in the business of creating products. So you cannot finance creation of products the same way you finance coming up with the real estate, the housing, the real the collateral based. So we have to relook our financing models. How do we make terms favorable to the industry, which is tied to number 3, which is security-based financing by the local institutions. The farmer, for example, as the product, as a ton of macadamia that will be harvesting in 2 months. You want him to give you his piece of land, his title, to use as collateral for him to access financing. That's not favorable to the farmer. Same to us, the processors. We need the money at the beginning of the season to buy a product and farm produce from the farmer. You want us, we have to seek extra securities for us to be able to access that capital, which is quite limiting. So then there's also low investment in digital payment systems across the sector. I think this will be crucial because this helps with tracking to know what is the real financing, who gets what, how much, how much of them as a percentage, how much goes to the farmer, how much goes to the processing facility. So the digital payment systems can also help our financing institutions to be able to have a visibility of how the sector is financing, and also to help them monitor and track the money that they advance to the processors and to the farmers. Next. So the main financing needs that the sector needs, number one is working capital. That is the biggest financing need, because 80% of our production cost is purchase of raw material, purchase of the macadamia nuts from the farmers. That is the biggest cost. And it comes also, it's very seasonal. We need it at a specific time of the year, a big chunk of it, so that we're able to take produce from the farmer. I think there was a question yesterday here where there's a farmer who asked, what is the capacity, the finance capacity for the processors to be able to take the product. So this is key to the sector. And of course, the second need is machines and processing facilities upgrade. As the industry grows, so does our processing facilities grow. You've seen the World Macadamia Organization. There's a growth in the industry, 8% per annum. Of course, that leads to more processing capacity. Farmers are planting more trees, more produce. So our facilities are continuously being upgraded, and we need financing for machines and upgrading our facility and expanding them. Then another critical one is credit advancing to farmers. This is important because the farmer is the primary producer. In the whole chain, it starts from the farmer. So if we've seen data, Kenya, like this year, there's a paper, we've lost 25 to 30% of our crop because of harvesting immature nuts. Sometimes most of the time, is that farmers will harvest the immature nuts because they need that money. But if you had a system whereby they can access favorable credit, that is not also, I know there are some platforms who are lending farmers, but if you look even at the rates, they are very exorbitant. They are basically not favorable. So if you can come up with a favorable credit that can be advanced to the farmers before the season starts, so that they're able to take care of their needs at the family level. Probably they need to buy farm inputs that also will help in the production of the trees and other crops. That will greatly help. And that credit advancing can be done now through the digital platforms that are being developed, like what Kether Africa has done, developing a very good credit advancing and payment system to the farmers. We can use such tools to be able to advance credit to the farmers, and the farmers can be able to benefit, because once the reduction of harvesting of immature nuts means also more money to the farmer, because if those immature nuts come to the processing facilities, they will be rejected, and that's a loss. So to avoid those losses, we need to come with mechanisms on also how we can advance credit to the farmers. So what are the benefits of financing, increased financing into the macadamia sector and generally the agriculture sector? Is that we are able to create more jobs from the farm to the processing level. As you've seen, 80% of the cost, production cost, is on the buying of the farm produce. So if we are able to get more money to the processors, which eventually will get to the farmer once the farm produce is bought, that multiply effect goes up all the way the chain. The processing facilities will be able to process more macadamia. Of course, those are more jobs, many other jobs will be created along the value chain, may it be transporters, farm input providers, financial institutions, finance institution providers. So there's a big multiplier effect if there's proper financing in the sector. Then, of course, there's increased income to the farmers. If the processor is liquid, the farmer is definitely will benefit more, because he'll be able to buy more produce from the farmer, and eventually the farmer will have more money in their pocket. Then there's increased value chain, increased value addition of the macadamia nuts, because with the upgrade of the processing facilities, new machines, we're able to create more products. And I think we've been challenged here to create more products as what is even currently the world is demanding. We have products like the butters, the macadamia butters, milk, macadamia milk, and so many other products, cookies, and so many other products that can be created from the macadamia. So this, with increased financing in the sector, we'll be able to do more product development and generally grow the sector. Kenya, of course, definitely will earn more foreign exchange because of increased exports from the increased financing in the sector. And of course, the financing institutions will also make profits by financing the sector. You'll get more profits by financing this. So it's a win-win situation for all of us. And finally, the solutions that we propose going forward, of course, we can define them with a lot of partnership in the sector with the farmers, processors, value chain players, and with the financing institutions. How do we make it better? How do we make it happen? And some of the proposed solutions, there's policy change on the agriculture financing in the country. I think that's something that needs to be really relooked, because the manufacturing sector in Kenya, if there's growth in the agriculture sector, growth in the agro-processing, is basically growth in growing our manufacturing in Kenya. And the latest numbers are showing our manufacturing is from 14% contribution to GDP, now it's at 8%. So there's a downward trend in the manufacturing sector, and the agro-processing sector can be able to bridge this gap, and definitely the results and the impact is there to be seen. Very important is creation of sector-specific financing products for processors, farmers, and other players along the value chain. This is very critical. This is very critical because we have to come up with products that are sector-specific. Root Capital, Incofin, and the KFW, and a few others, over many years have been able to create such products. However, there's much more room for improvement even on the current existing products, and how also our local, especially the challenges to our local financing institutions, how do we make these products that serve the interests? Because as local institutions, you also understand the local needs better. So it's important for us to be able to come up with those financing, sector-specific financing products. And the last one is favorable financing terms on the existing lines, which is linked to number 2 for what I've just said on number 2. So favorable financing terms on the existing lines and new lines. Basically understanding this is an industry whereby we have a main season that probably will run for 4 months, sometimes less, that we need heavy financing at that moment. So, and how do we come up with favorable terms that make financing of the sector better? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kobia. We have understood the entire holistic approach. You have given us the challenges that are being faced in the sector and even proposed solutions. So that is a challenge that should be picked up by financial institutions, the local banks, and also the social lenders like Root Capital and Incofin. So I would like to just follow up. Charity in the previous session spoke about agriculture employing over 60% of the Kenyan workforce. And then Kobia, you have spoken about the loan book for agriculture is 4%, roughly, say 3.8%. How are we able to bridge that gap? And I'd like Juma Nyateko from Equity Bank to help us understand. Loan book 3.8%. GDP from agriculture and other supporting sectors may become to about 35%. What are you doing as Equity Bank to assist in bridging that gap?
Good, thank you. And as it has been said, my name is Juma Nyateko from Equity Bank, heading the input supply chain. Now, it is true that from the national statistics, the financing to agriculture is that low. Ranges between 3 to 5% in most cases. But again, before I would say what we are doing, I would also want to say why is it so? When you look at it generally, banks are struggling to get information when it comes to agriculture. And for example, I'll give, when we talk about macadamia today, if I sit on my desk and I want to know more about macadamia, that information is very scanty. And sometimes the information you get is dating back to 2019. 2019, I'm in 2025, and I want to make a decision that is basically relating to a lending that is happening today. Most cases, and Banakobia and even Jane will testify, we have had to reach out to them and asking what is happening. When you look at it last year, late last year and early this year, what was trending was the negative information about macadamia. All the press was saying was the macadamia industry is on its knees. The macadamia industry has got these many challenges. But nobody is coming up strongly to basically give us the positives about the macadamia industry. And as you know, the negative information travels very fast and goes far. So that is what is actually being portrayed to the public and to the other potential lenders. So the first thing I'll probably say is that I'll let all the players make sure that we get the information. We actually have data that I can click on today and tells me this is how the macadamia sector is performing. This is what are the key challenges. These are the key trends that I need to look at. And this is how the future looks like. So that will help. Now back to the what we are doing to support that. I'll talk for Equity Bank. If you look at what the Equity Bank plan is, we have what we call the Africa Resilience and Recovery Program, where we are dedicating 30% of our book to agriculture. Now, as it is today, we are looking at the lending by Equity Bank to agriculture is actually at 15%. That means that we are way above the industry statistics. And what are our plans to improve that? We are looking at, when it comes to, I'll speak more to macadamia because most of the people here are on macadamia. But we are looking at starting from what is the key factor when it comes to macadamia. We start with the farmer. So what solution do I have for the farmer? The farmer basically needs to get, when I'm looking at the start and also looking at what the end result you're looking at quality. So do we ensure that the farmer has the right crop or the right seedlings that they can be able then to help them grow the correct tree that we give you the right product that you're looking at the end of it. So our solutions to support that is looking at how do we collaborate involving the private and public sectors to come up with nurseries that produce the right seedlings. Those seedlings then can be able to give you the right varieties that you're looking at. So financing of that is basically structured to meet the actual needs of the farmer. So we are supporting nursery establishments and any other research that will go into how to develop the right varieties of macadamia trees. So that is one step that we are taking to be able to help improve the macadamia sector. Then we go ahead and now look at the farmer. What are the solutions that the farmer need? The right inputs, the right agronomy, and also having any other needs that can help the farmer be able to meet their daily activities. If a farmer wants to pay school fees and he is expecting macadamia to mature maybe in March or April, then we give a solution backed by the macadamia that they are going to harvest. One of the challenges that has also come is we have seen a lot of in-shell nut export. So how do we address that? You are looking at what is the driving that need. And there are a lot of players in the middle, the aggregators and the smaller SMEs. The best solution from our end is looking at, can we empower these SMEs to also be able to upgrade their operations? Can we support the aggregators on, with the financing they need? You need asset finance, you need working capital to consolidate the nut, but also some semi-processing, which then can help these players be able to then add value to what they are doing. And also lock these in-shell nut competition, which leads to premature nut harvesting. So there are those solutions that we are giving. We looking at a value addition. There are some small value addition that the smaller SMEs or smaller players can do. So financing on maybe setup of go downs, setup of buying machinery and dryers, and also basically ensuring that they have the right equipment. We have seen also new technology coming in. So how do we work with these macadamia players to be able to acquire the right technology, like X-ray for scanning nuts, to ensure that we have the right quality, and also ensuring that then the other players that you are working with can be able to get into an arrangement, like if you are a supplier of a nut to a particular factory, then how do you work with that partnership to ensure that you get the right support from the bank on that guarantee? For the processors, we have got a number of solutions. We are being able to support also on the working capital. We are looking at how do we help you upgrade your operations, giving solutions around new investments. And one of the things we are looking at is how does a factory remain afloat, especially during the low season or when they are out of season for the nut. So those are the things we need to work around and see how do we help these factories continue producing throughout the year, because you'll be having to pay certain salaries and you're not producing. You are making paying certain bills, but you're not producing. So how do you then have a year end from January to December that your factory is running? Because when you invest in a machine, that machine should be giving you returns when it's operating. So the only solution that you can have is to ensure that at no one point your factory runs idle. And the other thing that we are now looking at is structuring financing, not based on securities, but understanding the sector. And now that comes from the players. If we are able to work together, then the issue of security should be a secondary solution to financing from the banks. And we have been able to give facilities which are unsecured up to certain amounts. We are looking at if we can be more confident and work together, then we can always increase the limits and ensure that we are supporting these sectors in the best way possible. Other things we are looking at is partnerships with the government, where government gives guarantees. These guarantees then ensures that we can be able to lower the interest rates. We have done that with the Ministry of Agriculture in other sectors, especially for cereals. You have all seen about the KSEP program. and other programs the government are running. So through the Macadamia Association and through AFA, if we can come up with such arrangements whereby we say the government is going to be able to guarantee a certain portion of this financing to this sector, that then allows the banks to say, fine, we're going to play here, we're going to take a higher risk, but we can also give you a haircut when it comes to the interest rates that you are getting. Insurance also comes into the risk, basically for the farmers, crop insurance, that will help, but also working also with other lenders, bodies, like we give guarantee funds and also de-risk this financing. So that is one of the solutions that we are looking at to be able to help us to increase our financing to the macadamia sector and the agriculture in general, but also ensure that you are getting the best rates for yourselves and also getting solutions that speak to you. Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Juma Nyateko. Thank you very much for your talk. I would like to move over to Esther Mbithe, Root Capital. Root Capital has been assisting and supporting the macadamia sector well over 15 years. So, as Root Capital, how do you measure your success in terms of financing, apart from being paid back by producers and processors like us? How do you measure your success?
Thanks, Lisa. Yes, we've been in the market for quite some time, over 15 years. We've seen the highs and lows of the sector, and we believe we have perfected the art in this macadamia space. So we've been lending to this value chain for quite some time, and our default rate has been very, very low, very, very low, because we've tried to work very closely with our processors. We've tried to understand what is ailing them. For instance, in the last 2-3 years, in the 2024-2023 season, the market was just bad, and we tried to work with our processors just to try to fit into the entire value chain and ensure that our money is paid back and our processors do not close shop. So we have seen very low default rates, unlike other value chains, and it has been a success story. We've seen companies growing from as low as $100,000, and now we are talking of $4 million for one company. So it has been challenging, yes, but the success, of course, outweighs the challenges.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Esther. I want to link the previous session and this one. We spoke about women and youth and empowerment and access to financing. So, Dan, as ABSA, what deliberate strategies are you employing to ensure inclusive financing? This is to youth, women, yes, within the macadamia value chain.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all those that spoke before me. And I'm aligned to a lot of what my colleagues from the industry, Juma and Rahab, spoke about what financial institutions, and in this case commercial banks, are doing in the space. And say as ABSA, that is also part of what we are able to do, from working capital to CapEx to non-debt solutions we're able to provide. And also to Kobia, thank you for articulating on behalf of the industry a challenge when it comes to financing. Maybe the only one part that you didn't include in your presentation is, why is it that the banks are not coming to the table? It's a good question. Maybe we can pod after that. And to Root Capital, we consider you our godmother. Yeah, when it comes to sector, you've been into it, and you've been through the loops and seen it all, and thank you for supporting our farmers. And the reason I start there is because I have, not very far from here, about a quarter an acre, and I think I spoke about it yesterday, and it has a few macadamia, and I've been watching it for the last 36 months. So I've put my seeds there, but I've not even gotten a single shilling back. And my bank cannot finance me against those expected cash flows in the future. I'll come to Root Capital, we see if I also qualify to people that you could work with. But coming to ABSA and a very good conversation that happened in the morning around youth and gender. And I like the question that was asked, how many of us, especially the processors, can say that the commodity we process, we were part of growing those trees? Or did we just come to the party when the trees have grown? And that was important. For our approach as a bank for gender and youth is actually fourfold, and it's based on a study that we did some times back, and asked ourselves, why is it that there is that disconnect between the financial institutions and the customers and the borrowers when it comes to supporting them? And it is normal to start with financing and say, I just want finance. And then ask yourself, why is the banks not doing it? So we found that the challenges that needed to be solved are actually different. One was access to information, actionable information that our youth and our women can deploy in the sector to be able to be profitable, so that when they come to borrow, they're able to pay for those facilities. So intentionally, we come to these events, curate our own events, partner with other players to disseminate timely information that the players across the sector, whether they are growers or they are processors, they are aggregators, they are in the cracking space, are able to do. The other one is access to markets. Our heritage is from South Africa, which is a leading player when it comes to macadamia. And they have a way that they approach the access to markets. How we do it is to say, if it is possible for us to organize our customers to know where the market is, then we'll be improving the ability to make money. And that's why anytime you attend an event that ABSA has organized or is part of, you'll find that we come with exhibitors from our youth and from our women, for them to be exposed to the market and to see what's the best practice that is out there. The third thing is coaching and mentorship. We can provide all this good information. In fact, it's sometimes readily available in the internet, but seeing it firsthand from somebody who has done it, hearing the stories of exotic, hearing the other stories that we had today, it inspires the youth and the women to know that this journey has been walked before, it can be walked, and knowing where the pitfalls are. And beyond that, we have a program that we do with our foundation called a Ready to Work program, and it's also a Ready to be an Entrepreneur program, where we go to various universities and bring people who have gone through that journey and explain to them that this is how my journey was. You don't have to replicate it, but you can take the lessons from it. Finally, when we've done those three things of access to information, access to markets, access to coaching and mentorship, then we believe we can provide sustainable finance. And that's the aspect that Rahab and Juma well articulated what we do as financial institutions. Specifically for women, we have a women in business proposition called SHE. She simply says, see her empowered. So it does, apart from providing the three, provide non-collateralized lending, yeah? Or where we have to seek for that collateral, we speak to guarantees like AGF that was mentioned earlier, and other guarantees that are available. We know that in our society, most of the land which security that commercial banks would ask for is not in the hands of the ladies, at least not in the past. So asking the same of them does not really support them. So we have a bespoke product, which I would encourage all of our ladies and the youth to visit. In fact, my branch manager from Embu is here. She's Victoria. Victoria, say hello. She's a youth, 1, 2, and she's also a woman. So we are not only speaking about it, but also walking that journey to us. Finally, we see ourselves not as competitors, but as collaborators and partners that together we are able to grow the sector. Thank you.
Asante sana Dan, and thank you for supporting the sector with your 36-month-old seedling. In the next 3-4 years, you can give me a call. Now, we are talking about the value chain, and at the core of the value chain is the farmer. We can only assume the challenges that the farmer faces, but it is good to hear from a farmer who has been in this industry for quite some time on the financing challenges that they are facing. Mr. Gitonga Gatua, over to you. Let us know what challenges have you been facing in terms of accessing finance, and maybe what solutions from a farmer perspective do you think the people here, the lenders here, can assist in?
Thank you very much. Gitonga Gatua who is a farmer, and from Mount Kenya Nuts Cooperative Society. I don't know whether there are any of my members who are still here. If they are here, you can stand and wave. Very good. The rest, I think, have gone to tend to the farms, gone back. So the challenges that a farmer faces, especially a macadamia farmer, in accessing credit, I don't know whether to say is it's a cocktail of things, out of which we have the people who can solve them here. We have the financiers, we have the government, and we have the farmers. It's a really mixed bag of things. I've been going around the last few days we've been here, talking to financiers, including the government bodies like KDC. And when I talk to them and ask them and challenge them, surely no one has anything for the farmer. They are all talking about, including those financiers who have spoken today. You can, those who listened, they were talking about processors, aggregators, exporters, and the farmer was just being mentioned, but there was nothing offered. Or even others talked about what they are thinking, what they are doing. It is good you're thinking, at least now, and I hope we'll actualize the thinking. But honestly, we can say there are no products that are there in the market to support the farmer. Macadamia farming in Kenya is really a small-scale holder. In fact, if you were to look at the average, it's probably about 50 trees per farmer if you look at the numbers and the number of trees we have. So one of the challenges we have is really that the financiers have a very low appetite to lend to farmers, especially small-scale farmers. They've also been kind of profiled as high risk. So no one wants to touch them. They know they're important, but they just go around the circles. Even when they talk here, because they've been here, the farmer is on the periphery. But, and that's why it explains, even the other presentations that have been here, the capacity of the processor currently is higher than the producer, isn't it? It's because the producer is being financed, the one who is selling out there is being financed. The market is big, but we cannot produce enough to satisfy because no one is thinking about the producer. So my challenge to the financiers is that surely in the market there is serious lack of financial products tailored for the farmer, affordable products that are specifically tailored for the small-scale farmer, and that is where macadamia is. Most of the products are traditional products. Even if a farmer comes to ask for facility, maybe he wants to manure and spray and do all those things, and he expects his harvest in the next 6 months, whereas it's visible in the farms, you would want to lend to that farmer and tell him, start paying me on monthly basis. Installment. Where do you expect the farmer to get installments and his product will be coming in 3, 4, 5, 6 months? So the financiers need to rethink, develop products that are suitable to the farmer and the need of the farmer, and with a clear view of the chain, because they're very happy with the rest of the chain, but you need to support the farmer so that you can also grow. Once the farmer grows, then the industry grows, you will have more of processors and aggregators to finance, and you have more export. How to keep record as a farmer, because those are some of the challenges we have. I need to have some financial literacy in terms of how I keep my records and how I manage my finances and expenses. And as lenders, then you need to calm down now as part of your business development and growth to educate this sector, which has very big potential, so that when they come to you, it is very easy to understand them, the way they operate, and they will provide you with the records and all the things you need. Of course, there are also lack of, I said about record keeping, which can be trained. There's lack of insurance. The insurance sector has not also developed appetite for insuring the side of agriculture, but of course they don't have because the lender is not interested, so what are they going to insure? So you need to work with insurance as financial, which are also financial institutions, to develop a package that is holistic to cover the small scale holder, who is the one supporting that big processor you want to lend to and that exporter. Of course, the other things that the government can also do together with other agencies in terms of dealing with price volatility. Because I know, as someone was saying, they hear in news there is a risk in macadamia. One of them talked about it. They say, you can't touch macadamia. So we need to manage price volatility. That's where AFA and other government agencies come, so that there is stability in prices and even production. Then in the process, we can have a guaranteed return for the farmers, working with the government and regulators, so that even the lenders know, at least if I lend this person, I know if we assess his farm, he has 20 tons, and we are guaranteed of at least 150 or 100 per kilo. So that will assist the financier and everyone else and the farmer in the whole chain. Then in terms of the government also needs to work on things that like weather index and prediction models, whereby everyone within the chain, from the lender to myself, as I go to lend, I know what are the rain patterns and what kind of crop do I expect, so that as we all work towards it, we have all the information that is required to assess and know my needs and my output, predictable output based on those kind of things. And of course, spread of more irrigation, so that we stop relying on rain. Of course, there are things like there is also the side of farmer joining in groups, and especially cooperatives, to be able to get a muscle that can be better assessed for credit, and you know, and have what kind of guarantees they can have to increase their suitability or the appetite that the lenders may have in lending to the farmers. I think basically that is what it is, and the government can also work towards encouraging farmers, the warehouse receipt systems, so that as the farmers we're able to store our products in those warehouses, get a warehouse receipt that can be verified, and probably the lenders might have some little appetite, better appetite to lend to me when I give them a receipt and tell them I have 10 tons of macadamia nuts in Kano in a warehouse, can you lend to me some money or part of it? Thank you very much for now. I think that is all, but it's a challenge to all of us, especially the financiers. Please invest as part of your business development, and there is very big potential, because agriculture, like in Africa, we can say is there's a financial vacuum of over $750 billion that you people are not exploiting, just because you don't want to go down there and understand the farmers and how you can finance the farmers and then grow the entire chain. Thank you very much for now.
Asante sana, Mr. Gitonga. Financial institutions, I think now the ball is in your court. You have had the challenges that the farmers are facing, and I'm sure there are many, many more. So the ball is in your court to be more approachable. Let someone be able to just knock on your door or give you a phone call, because this is how you develop financial products. You need the farmer as you're working on your products. Last but not least, Maureen from KDC. We have spoken about financing processors, financing farmers or lack thereof. Have you considered financing the value chain in its entirety?
Thank you for that question. My name is Maureen Kinyua, representing Kenya Development Corporation. Many of you may not have heard of Kenya Development Corporation. KDC is an institution that came up after a merger. You've heard of government mergers. We merged in 2021 from 3 different institutions. That's Tourism Finance Corporation, Industrial Development Bank, and ICDC. I know many of you might have heard of ICDC. So these 3 institutions came together in 2021 to form KDC, which is now the main investment arm of the government. So our mandate basically is to address the critical gaps in funding in target sectors of the economy, and our main metric of performance in terms of measurement is not profit. For us, we are an impact funding institution. We look at the social economic impact. And now to go to your question, we are actually considering bringing up a holistic approach to financing of the value chain. We've realized and we've done our research with other development financial institutions such as Uganda Development Bank. Once you finance only one particular chain in the entire value chain, you don't have the impact that is needed. So as KDC, we are actually here to learn more and to have a conversation with everyone in the value chain, from the farmers to the aggregators, to the people who do the warehousing and storage facilities. We want to talk to the processors. We want to talk to the people in transport, those in input, and those who even manufacture the organic fertilizer. We want to see, can we have tailor-made products for every single person in the value chain? With products that suit every individual in the value chain, you will have a bigger impact as a country. So being government, that is the direction we want to take right now, and I'd like to thank the support of our Director General, Madam Nora Ratemo, because this is a directive and it's actually in our strategic plan, our current strategic plan. We want to ensure that there is a product for each and every section of the value chain. This will increase the social economic impact and will enable us to achieve our mandate. If you can kindly give me a minute just to add on to this, I wanted to indicate that in response to Mr. Gitonga here, as KDC, we are set apart. We are a developmental financial institution. We are fully government owned. We are not a commercial entity, as I had said. For us, it's about social economic impact, rather. So what sets us apart as KDC? Why should you walk into our offices, or why should you see me after this? KDC is looking at impact financing. KDC offers a moratorium period. We've had the farmers here talk about cash flow restraints. You cannot get a loan today and pay tomorrow before your cash flow start coming in. So at KDC, we consider your payments to be pegged on your cash flows. So that's one thing that sets us apart. We offer a moratorium period, or rather a grace period, for principal payment. We cannot give you a loan today and expect you to pay both principal and interest tomorrow. So for us, we give you a grace period that can go up to 24 months, and it is pegged on the project implementation. We support startups. Let me repeat that. KDC supports startups. You can be having an idea, you can be having a farm, and you're thinking, what can I do to value add to this? You can come to KDC and we can ground break a factory together. So that's one thing that sets us apart. We will finance you as a startup, and we also finance existing businesses. We also offer very long tenures in terms of the loan. We offer up to 10 years, which is a very good and comfortable time enough for you to pay back a loan. We also offer competitive rates. Competitive rates. Our interest rates currently are, we're not shy to say this, are 12% per annum, reducing balance, and we even have a line of credit from Exim Bank of India that we offer at 9.5% per annum, reducing balance, and this line is fully tax exempt. In case you're a processor here, you're someone who is doing value addition in any sector of the economy, and you've identified India as a source market of your machinery, we're able to finance you under that line. Single digit, very competitive, and being a government entity, we will work with you. By the time we're financing you, we're sure that your business will take off and you'll be able to pay. So you're all welcome to Kenya Development Corporation. We are here today just to get a feel and ensure that we are able to support every person here, all the value chains. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Maureen. I have personally learned a lot about your product offering. I'd like us to have another big round of applause for our panelists. I think it has been a very great session. Asanteni sana, and I'd like to hand it over right now to Dixon.
Thank you, Lisa. Let's appreciate Lisa. I was seated there and I thought Maureen had an advantage of having heard from the farmer. She knew exactly where to hit, right? Yeah, because I think the farmer has really articulated the issues that are affecting the farmers. So apart from picking the questions from this group, I would just one parting shot, especially from Rehab. Just to respond to what Mr. Gitonga has said, just 1 minute as a parting shot, please.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Gitonga. Very good concerns. What I would want to really respond to is about the farmer in terms of funding the farmer and living traditional way. So as banks, or rather as Family Bank, what we have invested in when financing a farmer, of whom we know that the produce will not come immediately, in terms of security, we have invested in trade insurance. And like I mentioned, that we will not come and tell a farmer who have a small acreage, it is not enough yet, you want so much to do your planting. So what we've done, we've partnered with African Guarantee Fund, and where we support the farmer. To an extent, we finance them to a percentage, up to 75%, without asking a security. But then, of course, to be very vocal and honest, we look at our farmers, sometimes their subsistency, they have something else they are earning around, we tie it and we look at it. So really, we don't say it's traditional, you must give us this title, and for us to be able to do that. Of course, we have also been able to partner with other social impact institutions like ASELI, who comes in handy to support farmers 100%, and they cover almost 100% with the funds they have given us. Of course, there are farmers we have walked a journey with. It doesn't matter how much you're looking for. So in this regard, for macadamia, we'll be very keen. And I know within Embu, we have our agriculture team. We'll be able to we visit our branch. We have that solution of trade insurance. We embrace that as a bank. There's no way we can keep on looking for a title. So for me, is to address that issue of that. In regard to warehouse receipt, thank you so much, Mr. Gitonga, for mentioning that. It is there in the market, it has been launched through the government. As banks, we've been participating to bring out the solution. It is there. And for the farmers, we are saying that as you harvest your macadamia, and we have worked with the Warehouse Receipt Council, whereby we are saying in every region that we'll have warehouses, they could be private, could be public through the government, where the farmers are able to harvest the commodity like macadamia and stock them awaiting that the time the prices will be favorable. But the way we know macadamia and the seasons, it's not like any other commodity maize, the way they really fluctuate.
Yeah.
So, and that is why we've been able to first concentrate on warehouse receipt on those kind of grains where the fluctuation is too much. But also in macadamia, having seen 2-3 years how the prices fluctuated, we have accommodated also macadamia, and we are launching this bank on bank and coming to the farmers, telling them we can harvest your macadamia, putting them in a particular warehouse, get a warehouse receipt, bring it to the bank, and we discount. We give you money as we wait for the prices to be favorable for you. So that is what I have, just to comment on that.
Thank you. Another big round of applause to our panelists. And just in case you have further queries, questions, and interactions, you can, of course, have the banks represented here. So we want to just take a group photo for our panelists for this time. Unfortunately, that's the maths we could get for our financials. But of course, you know, they can really give us a lot of products. So let's just give them another time after this, right? So let's come and have a group photo so that we wind it up. So just to mention, we also were to be joined by Incofin, but they were to be in the panelists, but they couldn't make, just to make sure that that is said. Good. Thank God. I've been told we have a moment or two for questions from this side of the bench. So after the group photo, please don't leave. There's a question, I believe so, that is burning from this side. So a question? Yeah, we have one there, yes. So we take one or two, then where are you, sir? Another mic probably.
So, good morning. I'm a farmer from Udaya. I'm Zachary Mwaniki. I was caused to plant macadamia when I got 200 shillings for my macadamia. And I planted over 150 because I thought that is where the money was. And our farmers, the behavior is when you pay them well, they plant more. You don't need to motivate them by giving them credit. You don't need to do many other things. You need to give them money. I've also noticed the same with milk in Kiambu, Githongori. Young men came into production because they were given money. Coffee is the same. People are planting, you know, that they are planting coffee everywhere because there is a promise of money. We don't need to be stage managed. We need to be given money. Once you give the money and motivate us with money consistently, we'll give you the products. That's my comment.
Okay. That, to appreciate that farmer, it's much more of a comment. Yeah, we have one there. So after, so I'll just take engineer and my friend there. Then, yes, please. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
I think I want to be a devil's advocate here, especially with the financials. Huh? I think sometimes the way the farmers are organized is very difficult to finance them. And also you talked about no need for motivation, but when you look at the whole day with sessions we'll be looking at, the quality, how it looks, have you dried your macadamia, all these things are critical things that determine how much you earn. If a broker is taking more than 30% of your money and you make 19%, you know, you can't blame that the bank is not funding you. So I think my suggestion would be that if farmers have to be fundable on this young sector in terms of organization, I think farmers ought to be in organized professional cooperatives. Look at coffee, look at tea, even dairy. There's a nut element of organization that has been a prerequisite for them actually to be able to get money. And financials are not blind to this. They will run to these sectors because it's attractive because of that organization and self-regulation by the farmers or producers through cooperatives. Thank you.
Farmers organization, yeah. So, yeah, you can bring the mic there as I...
Thank you. My name is Munyi Ndiga. I represent an organization called Ketha Africa, and I believe Mwiti mentioned. So very quickly, mine is actually not even a comment, it's an invitation. Because for the last 2 years, we've been working with macadamia process such as Nutrinuts. And what we've done is basically to understand the entire macadamia value chain. And I really like what Juma said, lack of data. Gitonga mentioned about farmers being ignored, and then Mwiti talked about quality and standards. So what we've done is by understanding how the entire value chain works, digitizing the entire value chain, starting with the farmer, because our motto is always the farmer comes first. So by digitizing the farmer, you understand where they live, their geolocation. He talked about the number of trees they have.
Yeah.
So once you digitize that, you're able to predict even the produce that they can produce.
Yeah.
Then digitize the aggregators. How do they collect produce from the farmers? What are the quality standards that are needed to make sure that they collect? He talked about 20 to 30% loss.
Yes.
How do you help the aggregators to counter that at the ground level? So we do quality checks based on an application, and then how does it get to the processor? So once you do that, what we say is the produce moves up, the money moves down.
Yeah.
So once you digitize all that, you're able to see the value that is moving in, and then it becomes very easy for you to invest in the farmer. Because the process that are seated here, we call them demand generators. So you have a contract that says, I want to collect such number of tons from the farmer. So they create the demand downstream. Now the farmer is supposed to fulfill that demand. So if you ask me from a banking perspective, once a processor creates a demand, for me that is enough collateral for somebody to come and say, I expect 10 tons from her in the next 3 months. The processor has said they will pay her once they deliver the 10 tons. So why is it that then we cannot use that platform then to finance the farmer that, like Gitonga is saying?
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've worked based on how the process, the whole entire industry works, and actually we've actually integrated this to the financial institutions.
Okay.
And normally what happens, just to give them comfort, normally once they give money, sometimes it's either diverted or goes to other causes. What happens then on the platform is that it actually goes straight to the farmer. It doesn't go to the processor.
Okay.
Once the money is, when you mark an OD line, the bankers understand this, the money goes directly to the farmer. So just wanted to highlight, to invite all of us to participate, because there are platforms out here that have already solved the problems that have been highlighted here, that can actually get directly to the farmer on the ground. Thank you.
So last one, before I, yes.
I want to thank the panelists first for the good presentations. And secondly, I want to add to what my colleague said here. The problem is at the farmer level. The institutional arrangements at your level, what he said, where farmers come into cooperatives, they form SACCOs, then for every kilo of macadamia sold, you can take a shilling to create a fund. If we are producing 40,000 kilograms of macadamia, that is 40 million shillings every year. If you take 2 shillings per kilo, it's 8 million being saved in farmers' SACCOs. Then within 10 years, you can have 1 billion to fund yourselves from your own SACCOs, so that the banks will be engaging the SACCOs at better terms. But now you farmers sitting here are your enemies. You are not organizing yourself as a grassroots so that you have strong cooperatives, demand cooperative governance from your own leaders, and form your own funds within the SACCOs. Then you engage the banks at that level.
Yeah.
So the banks have low appetite because they can't lend individuals. They instead lend the processors sometimes. So please, that point should not get lost. Let farmers organize themselves and getting funding mechanisms which can even be internal among themselves through SACCOs. Thank you.
Thank you. So quickly, Mwiti, what do you have to say about that comment from my brother? Yes, Munyi and Gitonga. You've just had another statement that we need to group ourselves. So, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Munyi. As we live here, is for us to be able to create solutions so that we're able to bring the benefits of the discussions, the entire discussions we've had in this conference. So what Ketha have done is a very good, they have created a very good system. Munyi previously was the CEO of Tala. So he has an experience of the digital lending space. So basically it secures the bank, the risk, because the bank of course looks at the risk first. So with new technology, digitizing the whole process, the bank is basically has the visibility of where the money is going. So the fear of diversion of the money is actually this, because for us what we need is, we need money to pay the farmers, in whichever way. So if there's a control system that can help us, can help that money get into the farmer, that is what we need for us to be able to get the produce. And that helps to mitigate or reduce the risk, and also information, because data, because sometimes as Juma said, the data we have is for 2019. These systems, these digital systems, will be able to help us have access of real-time data.
Yes.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Getonga, what do you have to say about those two comments from Joseph and Engineer? 1 minute. Yeah, it's on.
Well, they are very valid comments, and if you realize when I was doing my presentation here, that is one of my last points.
Yes.
That as farmers, we need to organize ourselves, get into groups so that we can get that muscle and bargaining power to be able to talk to financiers and other bodies, and also lobby and do advocacy. And as someone said there, we can also create our own pools of money that we can borrow from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very valid.
Very valid. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's again appreciate them. So thank you so much. We've had the good photos, so thank you. We can have our seats. Thank you. Another clap and appreciation just for those well-articulated issues. We are coming to the tail end of our conference, and at this juncture, I want to invite Miss Lily Langat from AFA to take us through the next session. Please appreciate Lily. Please appreciate Lily. Yeah, thank you, Lily.
Has also come to us. A lot of deliberations have been done, and I want to take this opportunity just to give us a few minutes to ask our team of rapporteurs. We have been having a team that has been taking notes from day one. I want them just to give us a snapshot of what has come out here, so that you know that we actually captured everything. I want to invite, I don't know who's leading the team, Madam Dorothy, who is also a staff member of AFA, NATS, to come in quickly, some 5 minutes, just to give us a snapshot of what deliberations we
Thank you, Madam Lily, and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yes, as you have heard, my name is Dorothy Wachenje. I'm an educator by training. I work for Nuts and Oil Crops Directorate in the Technical and Advisory Services Department. But in this conference, we were in the rapporteur's desk, and would like to give you a brief of what we picked from the conference, but we will be sharing the updated report.
Stakeholders who came in through for us, we would not have achieved what we have achieved today. And I want to recognize our sponsors who came in through for us when we needed support. I want to recognize MacNat. I don't know where MacNat are, the representatives of MacNat. It's a collaboration of so many companies. Maybe you can just stand up in the crowd. Anybody, members of MacNat, wherever you are. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. Thank you very much, MacNat, for coming through for us. I want to recognize Family Bank. Family Bank, wherever you are. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. You came in at the last minute and you came in a big way. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Family Bank. I hope our industry players will come in and also support Family Bank. They have supported us. I want to specifically also recognize the Afrimac group of companies. Afrimac, wherever you are. Afrimac group of companies. Thank you. A quick round of applause to Afrimac. Thank you very much. You have given it all. Even we have had panelists coming from Afrimac under short notice. Thank you very much. We also want to recognize Kakuzi PLC. I don't know if they are here. Kakuzi PLC, but thank you very much. You came in to support us. We also have several companies, macadamia processing companies that have supported us with seedlings. I can quickly name Limbua. I don't know if Limbua, you are here. Edited Factor. Jumbo Nuts. If you are here, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We received seedlings and many other companies. I've just named but a few. And our farmers, I know you're working with these companies. We advised them that as they go out there, wherever they are, I know like some companies in Meru. So for farmers from Meru, you will meet the companies there and they will give you seedlings. Even as far as Trans Nzoia, Onja Uone also gave us seedlings. So farmers from that side of the country, you will receive seedlings from our companies. Thank you very much for supporting the conference and also expanding production by providing seedlings. I also want to recognize our county governments, especially our host county, Embu County government. I don't know if you are represented here today. They have been very supportive. They allowed us to come here. And I want also to recognize from the county governments, the county executive committee members of agriculture. I don't know if there are any represented here from all the macadamia producing counties. Thank you very much. Our CEC is here. Thank you very much, Bwana Magerer Langat, all the way from Kericho County. It is the upcoming frontier. Thank you very much. I don't know if there are any chief officers here represented from the counties, but county governments, thank you very much. Also the county agriculture officers, if they are here with us, I don't know if they are here, but we recognize you. I also want to acknowledge farmers, our farmers. All the farmers in the meeting, can you stand up? We clap for you. This was a farmer-focused conference. Thank you very much, farmers. Our farmers, we honor you. Without you, we would not have macadamia today. Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge our speakers, our panelists, and moderators, wherever you are. All the people that came to the podium with a lot of insights. I want to acknowledge you. And we also had international speakers. Wherever you are listening to us. We thank you very much for supporting us. I also want to thank the host university, Embu University. I don't know if there are any representatives from the university. Yes, they have supported us, and even their vice chancellor came in person to come and grace the conference. Thank you very much, Embu University, for coming through for us. We also want to thank our service providers, members. I think you enjoyed the facilities that we have. Is that so? Are you happy about everything that you saw here today? Let's give a round of applause to our service providers, from our media team, our cameramen, and even the ambience here. It looks very good. And the catering team, I hope there was no incident. Our catering team took us, were here with us very well. Security team and everyone else who supported us, thank you very much. And I also want to thank the National Government Administration team and the security. We are here because they have taken care of us. I hope there are no incidents of theft. Everybody has their things kept very well. Our security team, thank you very much. We also want to acknowledge the exhibitors. How was our exhibition? Very good, huh? Excellent, world class. Thank you very much. Our exhibitors, a round of applause to our exhibitors. Very good products. Some products, they normally go for export, but at least we have been able to see them in our local market. Thank you very much. And then also now a round of applause to all the participants, both here and in our exhibition tents. Thank you very much for your participation. I also want to acknowledge the participation of AFA staff. They have worked tirelessly. I know we have been burning the midnight oil in the real sense of the word. We have been having meetings up to midnight. Thank you very much, AFA team. I don't know if there are any AFA team members here. Just stand up. And a special recognition goes to AFA team. And a special recognition goes to Innocent Masira. Thank you, Director. Innocent Masira has traveled all the way from India. He arrived this morning, and he's right here. And he actually was our chairman for the committee for this conference. The dream behind this conference is with Innocent Masira. Just let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. We honor you. Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. If I have not mentioned you, we appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. And I hope we will have a bigger thing next time. And you will come in through for us to support us. Thank you very much, everyone. I don't know if the rapporteurs have finalized with the report. Welcome, Madam Dorothy, just to take us through. Just give you 5 minutes to run through.
I hope to take less. Sorry about that glitch. So we'll go right into it. We will show the main points that we picked. On the first day, when we had our opening ceremony, graced by our Deputy President, we picked government commitments to the macadamia industry, and the key initiatives or the clarion call was on farmer registration, on Kiamis portal, to enable support and prioritization of the macadamia value chain. It was also mentioned the issues of fertilizer and subsidies, so that macadamia could be brought into the subsidies. And thirdly, the issues of enforcement of the ban on in-shell macadamia. It was reiterated here that it will go on, and also to encourage value addition of macadamia. Also the county aggregation and industrial parks for the bringing together of produce to enhance efficiency. And lastly, on this issue is harmony in the development and between partners here in the macadamia value chain. Also, we looked at the challenges that came up from the presentations on production and quality of macadamia. And one of the challenges that were mentioned, we looked at the issue of immature harvesting of macadamia. We looked at the challenges of low adoption of good agricultural practices, also theft of nuts from the farm, and the impacts of climate change on production of macadamia, and what were the proposed interventions. Firstly, enforcement of the harvesting window, which has been proposed, and it continues to be implemented over seasons to prevent harvesting of immature nuts and to improve our quality of the nuts. Secondly, also the issues of enhancement of research so that we're able to get high-yielding macadamia varieties. We're able to get drought-tolerant macadamia varieties which are suitable for the agroecological zones, and also for the to be able to work and to produce well in the changing climatic environment that we are operating in. And also we looked at the enhancement of extension services, both a collaboration between county governments and also private players in extension, and to build capacity of the farmers. Also, it was mentioned the issues of guaranteed minimum investments in macadamia production. And finally, we looked at value addition. Majorly, it came out majorly, issues of value addition in macadamia, so that we are not only selling our produce to be value added elsewhere, so we can retain our jobs here and value remains here. Also, various opportunities exist, or they came out under value addition and marketing. And the first one is the issue of organic certification. We saw from the buyers and the international players, and they were very key on these issues. Also, the issue of branding, that our macadamia, as it goes out there, it should bear the mark of quality from Kenya, as we see in other produce. Also, it also came out clearly that we should take advantage of the trade agreements that exist, the AGOA and others, to boost our exports to foreign markets. And also, there's an opportunity of installed capacity. There's a higher installed capacity compared to our production. So even as we go out there, the farmers, as you go out there to increase your production, the fears were allayed that we still have a capacity that we are not utilizing. And I spoke about the challenges of poor quality nuts because of a myriad of issues, and also price fluctuations in the global markets, and also inconsistent quality perception. The perception of our nuts in the international market is something that we need to look into. And also on the regulatory part, we picked the issue of unstable policy direction, and also issues of non-compliance, non-compliance when it comes to harvesting, non-compliance when it comes to smuggling of in-shell nuts. And also, these issues can be dealt with through enforcement, and there are limitations on enforcement because we were informed that there are ongoing litigations, so this is a major challenge here. And also, There are industry standards and best practices, but we are seeing that there is low adoption, and even the information out there, people are not aware that these standards exist. And lastly, weak coordination among industry players. We were called upon to work together throughout the value chain node. We work together because we know that we have a common goal. And when we looked at climate resilience and sustainability, it came out strongly that the strategies which we need to put into place, the first one is agroforestry, and we see that macadamia lies directly into this theme as a crop for agroforestry to improve our soil health. The issue of drought-tolerant varieties, the breeding of drought-tolerant varieties for climate change, integration of beekeeping with macadamia, and lastly, reducing our carbon footprint. And this is through regenerative agriculture. And we will go to youth and women inclusion. And in this presentation, we saw the strategies that Enable Youth has put into place to train agripreneurs and also to finance their work. We also saw from a private player how to integrate sports with agriculture and especially macadamia, and also a need to motivate the youth, a need for them to have a perception change, no longer to see agriculture as a punishment or difficult work, into a business, really, for them to enter and to participate into the business. We also, in the financial support and investment, we picked that the issues of getting affordable credit for the players in the macadamia industry, and also policies that will ensure that there are favorable opportunities for the youth and the women to be able to access finance or credit. We also saw the issues of stakeholder collaboration. I have mentioned it before, but it came out also strongly. Partnerships, it was really spoken about how the players along the various value chain nodes should partner to enable us to meet our goals as a nation, to be the leading exporter of macadamia. And also MacNat was here. This is an industry association, and it spoke about how they will advocate for policies, how it will advocate for research and issues like that, and it's we picked it under stakeholder collaboration. And these are some of the notes that we picked on the issues of financing. As you can see, we picked very few notes because we were preparing this, but we have, we will prepare the detailed report, as I had mentioned, and we will share with us all to just to input it and to enrich it so that we can be able to communicate everything as it happened here in the conference for those of us who are not here and for future reference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was very detailed, and we appreciate you. So as we conclude on this end, what I picked out is it is important for farmers to register. I think going forward here, farmers, let's go back home and have our officers register. And there's a national government register, which is called KIAMIS, so that as had been explained, that they need to have your data so that you can be budgeted for and accommodated. And then the other key issue I have picked is formation of cooperatives. Farmers need to come together. You cannot continue standing alone. We need to bring farmers together. And on our end, we need to enforce regulations. We need to up our game in terms of regulations. On nursery registrations, we have talked about seedlings. We need to enforce that. I know here we have so many nurseries that have not been licensed. And as a regulator, we are asking ourselves to ensure that we enforce all the regulations up to and including observance of the closing window, which is a very key issue in macadamia. The government, I know, will go ahead and define exactly the support towards macadamia, as had been mentioned earlier on. We are also looking at establishing a detailed institutional cooperation framework. There are so many players working in this sector, but we are all working in different directions. So we are hoping that we'll come up with a framework on how to support the industry. Last but not least, the ban on export of raw nuts is still in force. So farmers, we are not exporting our macadamia raw, we are value adding. Thank you very much. I want to welcome Madam Director to take over from here. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests. I think a lot has been said, and I'm going to just take 2 of your minutes. My name is Anne Gekonyot, Director, Nuts and Oil Crops, one of the directorates in Agriculture and Food Authority. We have now come to the end of this 3-day conference. This conference has been able to bring together experts, growers, processors, and relevant stakeholders from the macadamia industry. It's been a good period of sharing information and forging valuable connections. I think what we need to come out of here is the connections that we are forging, and they are valuable. Macadamia is one of the most exciting industries in Kenya, and indeed very dynamic. And we are proud to be part of this dynamic industry. Despite all its challenges, I think it's a good industry, and that is why we are here. Our program was packed with a diverse range of sessions, and we hope when you leave here, you'll be able to have made at least 2 new networks as we move along. I take sincerely, as has been said by my colleague Lily, we sincerely thank all our sponsors and partners to have enabled this activity to take place. More important, I also want to thank our management. We had our Director General here, Dr. Bruno, who has been very, very supportive all the way. And indeed, the Board of Management of AFA has also been very, very supportive, and I think you recognize they were here with us throughout the period. We do take this opportunity to also thank our line ministry through the CS, Honorable Senator Motahi Kagwe, and the PS State Department of Agriculture who was here with us, Dr. Paul Rono. And indeed, we go and pass our appreciation to the Office of the Deputy President, who indeed, you can imagine how exciting this value chain was, that it can excite the highest office in the country, and you had his commitments. So I think for us as an industry, you included, you can see the importance of what we're dealing with. Now, I do not, and lastly, I know it has been said, thank you, but as the director of the nuts and oil crop, my job was, I must say, very easy, was to sign and agree to what the committee said. Indeed, we burnt the midnight oil, and I'd like them to stand one more time. We appreciate them. Kindly, NOCD. Asanteni. Now I would wish to call on my director, Mr. Peterson Mudadhai, to give us the closing remarks. Karibu sana. And as he gets to the podium, I also want to acknowledge the Directorate of Nuts and Oil has been supported by other directorates, and we've been having the directors here. Today we have Director, for those who deal with coffee, I'm sure you know, Director Mutweri is the head of Coffee Directorate. We had the director in charge of fiber crops. I had a lot of pamba grows here. Madam Grace Chalo was with us. We also had Food Directorate, Callistus, he was here with us. We also have a representative from Horticulture Crops. She was here with us. And indeed, Pyrethrum mira and other industrial crops, they have been with us. So I really want to thank our fellow directorates and the AFA management who are with us here, but even in the exhibition. Asante, karibu, Bwana Director.
Thank you very much, Anne Gikonyo, who is in charge of the Nuts and Oils Directorate. The CECs who are with us here, the members from the county governments who are with us here, the processors who are with us, the banks, and all those who supported us in this program, our distinguished farmers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. As mentioned, my name is Peterson Mudadhai. I know my brother, branch manager of Family Bank, ananijua ni mtu hapa nyumbani. So I come from county number 14, which is called Embu. So I'm home. On behalf of my chairman, Honorable Serem of AFA, the board members and the management of AFA, I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of you, those who sponsored and those who participated. When this National Day issue was brought to us as a board, I was very nervous. And I will tell you why I was nervous. Because any meeting I have attended of macadamia fraternity, it is blame game. If it were not for this one, we would not have gotten anywhere. If it were not for this one. So I was wondering, now we are coming to quarrel in Embu. On the other hand of the quarrel else, we are not here. But I'm very excited at the end of this session that this has been a very, very enlightening, very, very educative and informative 3-day session, where all the stakeholders came together. One, we are speaking one voice, macadamia. And we have also realized that we can't do without the other. And then when you bring the stakeholders together and we all talk one voice, we become stronger. So I'm seeing a great future of macadamia, because now the processors know they can't do with the farmers. The farmers know they can't do without processors. The financiers know they can't do now with the farmers. And you have already heard, David, Shinda, CO processors, those ones you can get, you need to go to the farmers, because they also need to be financed. I am excited by a young man called Munyi. In fact, even when I grow up, I want to be like you. I'm not sure when that one will be. Because we have been wondering, how do we bring these farmers together? How do we get the numbers? How do we get the data? Munyi has the solution. Because many times we have been talking of problems and we have no solution to give. Mheshimiwa si Kericho wanajua wanasiasa nyinyi kukosoa tu, amsemi tutatatua namna gani, but now Munyi comes with a solution. So if we are able and challenge Gikonyo and the team and pick Munyi and get his contact, because he's very useful to us because of data collection. Where is Gitonga from Meru? Yes. Gitonga Gadua, we visited his farm with our CEC, Honorable Mutai Kagwe. We visited this, and with the entire team of nuts and oils. We did not just visit this farm. We were able to interact with the members of Mount Kenya Nuts Something Group, which he has. We already know our major problem as macadamia farmers is because we operate as individuals. And I believe at the end of this meeting, we have noted the need of us to form cooperatives, come together. This has been mentioned several times. But now we need action. So Anne, I'd wish to request that we initiate a meeting with the CECs in all the macadamia growing areas so that they can pick up from there and go and initiate the meetings of the farmers in their macadamia farmers specifically in their counties so that they form their groups, and then from there they give us the chairs now from the counties whom we can meet with, and it's easier for us to introduce now the chairs to the family bank, to the APSA, to all the other financiers, because it is easy for them to get to us through our own cooperatives. Hii tumeongea mara mingi. It's now time for action. So us as AVA, we are going to assure you, we coordinate with the CECs of agriculture in the counties, more specifically in the growing areas, so that we are able, macadamia growing areas, so that we are able to form the cooperatives very quickly. This is not even for purposes only of financing. I know, and now I can tell you for sure, the Mount Kenya Nuts Group were able to get attention of the processors because they are the volume. We have reached a stage where the macadamia farmer will not be asking the brokers, utaninulia pesa ngapi. Tumefika mahali ya kusema tunauza pesa hii na unaangalia upande mwingine. Take it or leave it, because you have the volumes. The bargaining power we are looking for cannot be gotten when you have your 20 stems of macadamia and only 200 kilos. Whoever will come will be dictating on the price. We have now come to the age where the farmer will dictate the price. And this is where we are. Hii tumeongea nao mwaka mzima, sasa it's time for action. We are, and I want to thank the team of the NAS and us, led by Anne Gikonyo, because of this organization. If we didn't initiate, even those who have sponsored would not have come. And I am sure it is the wish of everybody that will be meeting annually. Do we agree on that one, farmers? Yes, let's clap for that team. Because now that's where we'll be able to compare notes. What were the resolutions in the meeting we held in Embu University? So when we go to Kericho, we'll be saying now this is National Macadamia Conference 2. And now we'll be looking at the resolutions we made in the Conference 1 and see the milestone. To see where watu wa kuongea bila matendo. And now finally, it is our hope and a prayer that we'll be able to organize. I know wanaitwa nini, Macnat? Where's the Macnat? There was a representative, yes, chair. I know now, I'm not sure whether you are with us in Johannesburg or in Durban with most of the members of the processors. We were there with you. And now we know, we are aware you are lobbying for us to have an international symposium. You are assured of our support. You are, yes, as AFA. And by extension, when we mentioned this one to our cabinet secretary, he was very excited. So you are assured of the support of the government. When you were giving brief to our deputy president here, we mentioned the same symposium. He said he is ready to support us. So let us now go on. And as we go on, make sure we move with the entire stakeholders. I want to see the farmers. It is not just the processors, and the exporters, and the financiers. I want to see the farmers in the symposium. So that their linkages will not just be confined to the Meru farmers coordinating and linking with the Kericho farmers. We can also coordinate with the South African farmers, the Australian farmers. And finally, as I wind up now, I have seen finally twice. So this now, when we are Mheshimiwa say now finally, and you note, I have a background of teaching, and one lesson is 40 minutes, and I'm here to finish the 40 minutes. So mutakaa kidogo, na mnasikia niko nyumbani, I can walk home. We want now to appreciate the processors. I'm more informed of the processors in Embu, and I want to encourage all the others to do so. That you have not only started your nurseries, you have gone ahead to give these seedlings to the farmers. This is the only way we can increase our production. If our production is going to meet the capacity of our factories, you can see the difference. We are at 47 in terms of production metric tons, while the capacity of our processors is 120. We need to get there. We can't get there until we produce more macadamia. And what you are doing, processors, we are excited. We have been on this product, same program also as AFA. We have given seedlings to farmers. You have already been assured, wherever you have come from, you find seedlings there for you, having attended this conference. The idea is we improve our quality, we improve our quantity, and pesa itaingia mfukoni. I want to thank all of you for your resilience and your patience. I have attended several conferences, and by the last day, under normal circumstances, whoever closes the meeting ends up by addressing the organizers, not the participants. Wamekuwa wameenda. Yeah? So for you to have been here for the 3 days, you have been a blessing to yourself, you have been a blessing to us, and we are excited that you have been able to move to the very end. And now, therefore, on behalf of my chairman, I want to declare this first National Macadamia Conference officially closed.
Thank you. I expected a better clap after such a successful, yes, successful conference, the first. And we are so grateful that this came to fruition with all the participants, with all the sponsors, and that we are so grateful for AFA. Honestly, this is a big step to the right direction, and we can only expect things to get better. So as we now close, finally, because we only have 2 announcements. One, MacNat has asked for a meeting with the processors, who are both members and non-members, and also farmers. So immediately after this, we just we stay here for a few minutes because lunch is there. So a few minutes with the chair for some deliberations on the way forward. Second, once we leave this podium, please pick your belongings, because now the security, of course, wamesikia tumefunga conference, pia wao wamefunga kazi yao. So tafadhali usiache virago vyako hapa. But for the exhibition, we'll still have some few hours with them. So in case you had some few queries with one of those, please go ahead and do that. So I want to invite Daniel to have a word of prayer and finally to mark the closure of our conference. So after this, talk, connect, and God bless you. Mr. David. Pigieni MC makofi. Yeah, asanteni. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this moment, we want to thank the Lord because He's the one who has taken us through. I request us to be upstanding for a word of prayer. Twasema asante, twasema asante, twasema asante, ewe Mungu wetu, twasema asante, twasema asante, twasema asante, ewe Mungu wetu. Dear Lord, in the name of Jesus, we thank you. Thank you, as the Bible says, that everything was created for you and by you, that in all things that were created, you may have supremacy. For sure, Lord, we have seen you during this conference in the name of our Lord. You are the one who perfects our plans, O Lord, that we have seen you perfect the plans of AFA even to organize such a great conference, O Lord. Thank you for all the stakeholders that you brought together, Lord, along the value chain of macadamia. And for sure we can say, Lord, you give us macadamia for such a moment as this, Lord, that it may change our livelihood, that it may help us even, Lord, to create employment, and also as we conserve the environment in the name of our Lord Jesus. Thank you for the great minds, Lord, that have organized this conference. Lord, we don't take it for granted, Lord, that they are concerned about our welfare as farmers, as processors, as traders, Lord, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. May you bless our government. May you bless AFA, Lord, in the name of our Lord, that this industry, Lord, has a going concern that in the next 50, 60 years we shall be giving a different testimonies of how great things are. We thank you, Lord, even for the county government. We thank you for the national government. We thank you for the for processors, Lord, even for the Embu University, for hosting us in the name of our Lord Jesus. Lord, even as we go back to our factories, as we go back home, as we go back to our farms, Lord, we are praying that things will be different, that there will be great things in the name of our Lord. May you take care of our interests. Maybe there are those who have challenges, problems, Lord. They are even worried how things will be. Lord, may you attend to their request in the name of our Lord. We thank you, Lord, because King of all the glory, we shall have a testimony of what you've done. Take care of us even as we drive on roads, as we walk, Lord, that, Lord, we shall arrive to our destination safely. We thank you and we worship you. Thank you even for those who started this journey in the name of our Lord of Macadamia. We bless you because, Lord, we heard that some are not feeling well. May you touch them wherever they are. We bless you and we worship you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu.
Thank you. God bless you. Till next time. Lunch is served. Lunch is served at the tent. Yes, karibuni sana.
Macadamia, once a niche.
Regulate, promote, and develop the shaded crops, where macadamia is one of those key value chains in our country.
The macadamia sector supports
wakulima wetu, tukutane hapa kwa hizi meza.